Welcome to Metalheads Unite.
Yeah, he found out another voice setting right before we went on the air, so now he's got another toy to play with. So
It's pretty funny. I can't wait to get a bigger one because it's going to have more on it. So.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But I figure I better start small so I kind of get used to that first. So,
that's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the new girl at the hoe house. Got to start out with the small ones first.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. But here we are once again, everybody, with the Metalheads Unite podcast. It is Friday night at 10 o'clock here in Tennessee, here in the United States. Want to welcome everybody in who's watching the show live. And if later on you happen to be catching the show after the fact, we thank you for watching anyway.
That's right.
Yes. And just so everyone knows, we had no idea we were both wearing the same shirt until about 10 minutes ago, but we're going to roll with this shit anyway. So
not exactly the same, but similar.
Well, same album. I mean, it's still it's same album.
Which was crazy to me because that came off the same tour, the same night. That was the same shirt that was on their website. This one was actually at the show, and I got yours off the website, but it was the same dates and everything, but the machine head is different for some reason.
Yes.
I didn't even notice that till just now. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Same thing, but
exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But,
Yep, totally unplanned though. Totally unplanned.
Yeah, it was unplanned. Yeah, I didn't.
No.
I can't get into my closet right now because that's where my guitar and amp's sitting. So.
See, there you are.
So I'm having to get out of the clean laundry basket. So.
Well, there you go.
Didn't really rotate shirts too much this week. So.
Well, the cool thing about my backdrop, the way I got it set up, is like all of these you can't see, but these shirts are on hangers. So the cool thing is I just decided, I can change the backdrop, every week. So it's kind of cool. So this one actually, for anyone who's watched the show and paid a little bit of attention, this one was actually up on the wall. So it's like I decided to change it up, decided to pull, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and Pantera out. And I was like, I'm just going to wear the Machine Head shirt. So it just kind of made the choice on the fly there. So
before we get started, I just want to point to the banner here. We do have our link to our Metalheads radio. It's not really called Metalheads radio, but it is our radio station.
Yeah.
It's Metalheads, but it's a sub, I guess like a sub to another bigger one. So anyway.
Yeah, we've got our own channel on a larger radio platform. But we do have our own station, and I listened to our station. Man, I listened to our station a lot this week.
I did too. Yeah,
I did. I listened to it a lot. I was listening to it back and forth on the way to work. Up until today, obviously, I haven't do the album review, but I listened to it, man. And then like yesterday, I had it playing in the background on my computer at work. I listened to it off and on for like 6.5 hours straight. Yeah, which reminds me, by the way, I need to get you to let me record one of those voiceovers. I heard yours, so
yeah. So just do it like on your phone or something and email it to me.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like listening to it, and all of a sudden I heard this little jingle thing. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Because and then all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, this is Jason the Cornbread Metalhead." I went, "Oh my god!" I was like, I want to do one of those.
I did a couple for her.
I was like, hell yeah, man.
I don't know if you heard the Trevor one. That was me too. So
I did hear that. I was like, who the fuck is Trevor? Of course, then I heard the one where apparently there's like 3 dudes who do one. But I was like, whoa, that's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, still.
Yeah, most of the people on that's got podcasts and stuff too. So
yeah, but it was cool. I mean, the radio station, the radio station is very cool. You know, with the exception of like those little cut-ins every now and then. I mean, it's just straight.
Well,
No commercials, no nothing. It's great.
That's the reason that's done is because you can't get commercialized unless you show that you can break in, a minute and a half.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I totally get it.
That's why all that's there is just to kind of get.
Well, I dig it too because I mean, even though that, like you say, it's not really Metalheads Unite Radio. So the fact that it is our station, when they can hear you talk about hey, this is Jason from the Metalheads Unite podcast. Kind of people they can search for it and find us and stuff like that. And then even like those three, I don't know what country they're from. I want to say English, but I don't know. So those three English dudes that have their show, I mean, they're able to promote their show. We're able to promote ours. It's very cool. I totally dig it.
And actually, there's an extended version of that I did too. That's not on there yet. She's supposed to add that this weekend, but
nice.
I did an extended version where it tells the date that we go live and then places they can find it and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Whenever we did it the first time, I was just throwing stuff together just to get something in there for her because she didn't have anything.
Right.
So then I got an extended version and all that. So
yeah.
So
makes total sense.
And then we can't forget that we did a sponsorship for our wrestling benefit show here close to home here in Hornwall, Tennessee, happening on the 23rd of July. It's a battle for Bates. He's a guy that's dealing with stage 4 cancer right now, and he's got 3 small children, and actually one on the way, I think they said. So it's
okay, all right,
really really important that they get the help they need because he's like the only only income supplier right now. So we know how tough it is out there, and like I said, you do what you can. If you can.
Right.
But you can look up the Battle for Bates on Facebook, and you can see the flyers and stuff there and how to donate. So a friend of mine, Mike Jablonski's put a lot of work into that. So he actually joined on to the Metalheads page. Finally, I've invited him 3 or 4 times. I said, "Oh, that's what it takes. I got to bribe you." Okay. But yeah, so he's doing good things out there. Hopefully everything, they get what they need to help that family out. So
yeah. Anything anyone can donate, every little bit helps.
And I'm glad we were able to sponsor and kind of help out too. So
yeah,
I actually wanted to be part of the show, from my wrestling background, but I couldn't. It's a Sunday, so I can't do anything.
Right.
I actually work Sundays, so
yeah.
So it kind of sucked that I can't do something. I wanted to go out and ring announce or manage or ref, whatever I could do.
Right.
So, and I'm not sure they have a silent auction. I know they have a GoFundMe set up too for that. So if you want to, like I said, all that information's on the socials. If you want to search for Battle for Bates, Mike Jablonski's got all that info up there. So
yeah, very cool. Definitely for a good cause, for a very crappy an undertone. So, but
I mean, this is a guy that's probably younger than we are. So
yeah,
so it's kind of sad that he's having to deal with that at a young age. But
yeah,
I say cancer knows no age. So
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't discriminate.
Taking young kids is really what kills me.
Yeah, hey Dana, hello.
Hey Dana,
from Clearwater, Florida. Wow,
well, rub it in, asshole.
Yeah, I thought it was hot here. Jesus Christ.
Is it hotter down there right now? I don't know if the Clearwater area may not.
I don't know, but
in a panhandle, I'm sure probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it'd be too bad in Clearwater. I mean, Clearwater and Orlando, that area is usually not too much different than here. Like temperature wise.
Satan is asking for AC here. I get it. All right, answers that question.
Yeah. You spit and it evaporates before it hits the ground. So.
Right. Yeah. Hell, one of my coworkers today told me that he was looking at something on there, and supposedly, I don't know when, but apparently in the next couple of days, it's supposed to get up to 130 in Death Valley.
Oh my God.
I mean, of course, it is the desert, but still, 130 is 130.
Yeah,
I mean, no matter where you are, I just, good God Almighty.
then it'll be 60 at night. So.
Actually, he said that the overnight low forecast wasn't supposed to get below 100.
Wow, that's different.
That's awful.
Usually it drops a pretty significant
Yeah.
bit at night out there. So, wow.
So yeah, that's just awful.
That's Death Valley for real.
Yeah, it really is.
Vultures flying around through there all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Crazy.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well,
They can keep it.
Well, Dana, I hope you don't have leather seats and you don't drive naked. That's all I'm telling you. Oh man!
Actually, his truck probably does have leather seats. But
it probably does. That's why I was messing.
Probably does. Yeah.
All right, man. It's like we got a lot to get into. Like I know there's going to be a story or two that we're going to probably spend some time on. That
yeah, we might.
You kind of talked about. So I guess we better get rolling here into some birthdays and
yep.
Had a few this week. So
there were some big names this week. That's for sure.
I can read all this because my printer decided I'm not going to print the font that you asked for. I'm just going to print whatever the fuck I want. So,
well, at least it didn't. Hopefully, it didn't print out wingdings or anything like that.
Oh no! It just fucking small, dude. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like
I got you.
I mean, I can still read it, but it's just the point of I like it bigger to where I don't. Especially when you're doing, like you know me, especially dealing with a lot of these overseas names. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah. And Susie says the same thing. She likes it bigger.
She did say that. That's why I buy her toys.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man. Anyway, Ariel birthdays July 8th through today the 14th. July 8th we had Penty Whitey Glenn. He was a touring and session drummer for Alice Cooper. And this is going to be a trend in this segment, and I apologize, but it's probably going to be a trend in a couple stories too. But a lot of their birthdays have passed, but we still want to give them recognition for what they did while they were here on Earth. So,
sure.
But anyway, he passed away in 2017. Then we had also on July 8th we had Carlos Cavazo, guitarist for Quiet Riot. July 9th, we had the one and only Bon Scott, of course, vocalist for AC/DC, and we all know he passed away in 1980 horribly. Then we had John Mitch Mitchell, drummer for Jimi Hendrix Experience, and he unfortunately passed away in 2008. And then Frank Bello, bassist for Anthrax, Dan Estrin, guitarist for Who Stink, David Pearson, bassist for Fight From Within. And then July 10th, I mean, this is crazy. Like July 9th, we have Bon Scott. July 10th, we have Ronnie James Dio. Shit. It's like the who's who of metal singers from that era. But of course, he's vocalist and songwriter for Elf, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Dio, and Heaven and Hell. So, he passed away in 2010. But
from cancer.
Yeah, from cancer. Yeah, but that list of bands. I mean, that just tells you. How talented Ronnie James Dio was, man. Because I mean, like I could probably list a song from every one of those bands that he had contributed to, and then they're awesome. So I mean, also on July 10th we had Rick the Rocket Emmett, vocalist for Triumph. July 11th we had John Lawton, vocalist for Lucifer's Friend from 70 to 76, then 81 to 82, and then 2014 to 2021. And then he also was a vocalist for Uriah Heep from 77 to 79. Of course, he unfortunately passed away in 2021. Next, we have Richie Sambora. Of course, he's guitarist and songwriter for Bon Jovi from 83 to 2018. Then we had Jesse Smollett. I'm just kidding. It's Jesse. Jesse 69, drummer for the 69 Eyes. We had okay, this one's going to kill me. Actually, you know what? No, it's not, because I'm not even going to pronounce it. I'm just going to call him Ox, because he was the bassist for Lordy back in.
See, there you go. Yeah.
05 to 19. So I'm not even going to try to butcher his name. So July 12th, we had Eric Carr, drummer for Kiss from 80 to 91, and of course that's the year he passed away. we had Philip Taylor Kramer, bassist for Iron Butterfly from 74 to 77. He passed away in 1995. And we had John Petrucci, rock, well, guitarist for Dream Theater. Then we had Jesse Pintado, a guitarist for Napalm Death. Of course, he passed away in 2006. And then we had Sharon Danadell, singer-songwriter for Within Temptation. July 13th, we had Mark the Animal Mendoza, bassist for Twisted Sister. Even though Eddie Ojeda is the man, according to Jason McMaster. Mark Barney Greenway, vocalist for Napalm Death. Stephen Brown, a guitarist for Trickster. This one's going to give me. Joost van Vandenbroek, keyboardist for After Forever. Hopefully I did that justice. I have no idea. But we had this one. This one's kind of interesting because I've never had to do one for somebody that did this for a band. But this guy's Casey Guilfoyle Jr. and he's actually the bus driver for Fight From Within. So they were
shit. Okay, all right.
So it's pretty cool that you get those guys in here every once in a while. Then, of course, Rock and Ron, if you don't know who Rock and Ron was, he was part of the Decibel Geek podcast for many years there. And, of course, he passed away, I think, last year. So wanted to make sure we give a shout out to those guys.
Yeah, I saw their little tribute on Facebook today.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Did you mention George Corpse Grinder Fisher?
I didn't. Was his birthday this week?
It was this week. Yep.
It wasn't on nothing.
I saw it. I saw it on something on Facebook.
Yeah, it wasn't on Loudwire. It wasn't on the other one.
Hang on a second. I want to make sure that I didn't fuck that up because I saw it on Facebook. Hang on a second. I don't want to be wrong. Hang on.
I'll let you look and I'll carry on with today's date.
That's fine. Yeah.
July 14th, we had Tommy Mottola, music executive for Casablanca Records. If you're not familiar with that, just look up any old 70s Kiss record.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Then we had Jos Zoomer, drummer for Vandenberg. Jeff Olson, drummer for Trouble. Chris Steele, bassist for Alex is on Fire. And then Yomi, vocalist for Nightmare. And then we had our good friend Drew Fortier, had a birthday, guitarist for Bing Tango and Lucid.
Oh, cool.
Then we had Kevin Meadows, the vocalist for Deface the Dream, one of Dana Horn's bands there, so that he kind of promotes over at Metal and Tats.
Ah, nice. Oh, and George Corpse Grinder Fisher's birthday is July 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't on anything. That's crazy. But anyway, happy birthday to those. And you got any personal ones this week? Or?
Nope. Because we talked about me and my dad that last week. So yep.
So, all right. Well, happy birthday to all of those. And he said, hell yeah, good. But happy birthday to those. And then if I miss anybody, happy birthday to you. And of course, as always, if anybody listening had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. Hope you have a good one. So, all right.
And thank you for joining us on your birthday.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If it's today.
If it's today, yes. Yeah. If it's today and you're listening, thank you for joining us on your birthday. Of course, if someone catches us on the YouTube or Spotify later on this week, happy birthday to you whenever you watch it.
Yeah, right.
We got like a 7 day block. We got like a 7 day block. 7 day block into the future to wish people their happy birthday until next week's show.
And before I forget, since we were talking about the radio station at the beginning of the show, they talked to me today and they're working on, I know that's one of the things I've been getting feedback on was why the songs doesn't show like title and artist or whatever.
I did notice that.
So they are working on that to get that to work. So
that would be very cool.
Well, I want it to be able, and that's what I told them. I said, dude, we promote a lot of new music, so I'd like for people to know what they're listening to. So
yeah, that would be helpful. That'd be helpful.
So they're working on it. I don't know if they're working on that. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't been in on that loop. I just talked to them briefly today, so they're supposed to get next week and more extensive. But I think they're trying to work on an app. So if they do that, then
that would be cool.
course it would. It would actually do all that. So.
Yeah, so that would be cool because right now it's basically as you pull up the website, you follow the link, you pull up the website, all you do is hit like the thing that just you just press play and then the station just plays. Which I mean it works out well, but yeah, I did that was one of the things I noticed when I was listening to it in my truck. It just says no data available, and then of course I recognize probably 98%, 98% of the songs I still recognize them, but I mean still, like you said, there's a lot of new music we try to push out. And then, there may be people who, aren't as well versed as us, I mean, it happens, so, but I mean, it would still feel like, it would still, feel like a more legitimate radio station if, you can just see everything on the display as it comes across. So, yeah.
But I told her too, I said, well, I mean, I know it all because I put it on there, but
right. Yeah. which by the way, since we're talking about it, like we said, now that the radio station is up, if anybody has anything that they want, if anyone has anything that they want to hear, just drop us a message, whether you watch on YouTube, whether you're part of the Facebook group, or Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com. Email us your request, anything you guys want to hear. Like I say, we promise any song that gets requested, we will add it to the station. We will absolutely add it. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what band, doesn't matter what genre, black metal, whatever, Tool, Kiss, bands that we've talked about before that, we may not be like the biggest fans of, but we realize that they're all part of the family. So if there's anything anybody wants to hear, just let us know. We'll get it up there.
Yeah. So if you do that, and I can get to it fast enough. If I'm not out and about, if I'm here at the house, I can go in here and upload it real quick and make it play next. So you can actually be able to hear it and not have to wait for it to loop around. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Because that. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off there. Sorry.
I was just saying I can actually push it up the queue. So.
Oh yeah, because that's actually one of the cool things about. That's really one of the things I like about this radio station is, of course, it's they're good and bad. Because I mean, if there's basically all of the song, I don't even know how many songs you've uploaded at this point, but basically we're just running through.
There's about 1,000.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point. I mean, I don't even know where we are in the list, but
I'm into May of last year, so
right. So, but I mean, I don't know. But I mean, I don't know where the state. Like,
I went backwards. So
okay, well, see, that makes sense. But like, if we were to pull up the channel right now, I don't know what song is playing, so I don't know where it would be in the queue. So that's what I'm saying. You have to, at this point right now, as it stands, if you listen to the radio station, basically you just have to just take it as it comes. The good thing is you're not going to hear a song twice, which is good. At the same time, if there's a song you want to hear and it already played, you got to wait for it to come back around.
Right. Well, I'll say this: you won't hear it played twice in the same day. I'll put it that way.
Right.
I have heard days apart, which that's understandable.
Well, yeah. Well, sure, but that's another pro of our radio station. It's not like one of these mainstream radio stations where they'll take a song and they'll just beat the shit out of it, play it, So, Dana, you want to hear "Kill the Light" by The Dude? All right, we're gonna make a note of that. We'll definitely get that one put in there. It's just that simple, man. Well, any songs you guys want to hear, especially if it's especially if it's a band like that, a band like The Dude, good band who, may not be, nationwide or worldwide. We want to help with that. So
yeah, and our servers are based in England. So
yep.
So that, if we get it over in that area, and that's where I actually haven't looked at the projection of where everybody's listening from yet because I've been too busy uploading stuff. But there is a thing that lets me know that, so I'll try to dig into that a little bit.
Some of the
where we're at. So.
Yeah, some of the what do you call them? The metrics.
Yeah.
Metrics.
So I will say this: it does have a lot of good metrics on there where you can pinpoint. You can pinpoint that. You can pinpoint monthly listens compared to daily listens.
See, that's cool.
You can do week-to-week comparisons. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff on there. So it's pretty cool. So I know I know it was like it jumped the first week because I guess it was something new and everybody was like trying to check it out. But it's been kind of steady since then. I mean, it's nothing to go screaming home about. But I mean, as long as I'm putting stuff out there that people tend to listen. And like the thing that I have noticed though, if you're on the road listening to it, it may go in and out. You have to refresh it.
It does that I've noticed that too. I'll be going down the road and it'll like kind of cut out for a second and I'll be like, all right. But yeah, so that is a little annoying, but
yeah, but I have worked at home and played it for 6.5 hours straight with no problem. So it's definitely a satellite issue probably or something if you're driving. So
yeah. So, all right, see, Dana, I did just get your message. I'm gonna send you the link to the radio station right now, actually.
Okay.
And there you go, buddy. On the way.
But yeah, I mean, I have listened to it in the Nashville area and stuff pretty good, but I have hit some spots where I'd have to refresh. Like if you hit the refresh button instead of backing out and go back in, it should pick right back up. So.
It does normally. So
just because we're not on our frequency. It's actually, it's.
I mean, it's streaming radio over the internet. Yeah. So, but like I said, I was gonna say even XM every once in a while, like when Angela has like a free preview in her car or something, we'll be driving around and you hit a certain spot and it goes out for just a second, but it comes right back. So. Yeah, Dana, hell, man, you'll be able to listen to it on the road, man. So.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I upload probably somewhere between 60 and 100 songs a day on there.
There you go.
So it's pretty. It's a little time consuming downloading because I can only do them one at a time. But when I'm uploading, I can just go boom, 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 boom. So
yeah.
The uploading part goes pretty fast. So.
Yeah.
So there's new stuff on there every day. So, and then I usually try to reset it once a week. Kind of make sure ain't nobody listening. I'll reset the.
That
loop,
makes sense.
So it's not kind of going beating a dead horse with the same loop.
Yeah, we don't want to fall into that because that's what always kind of annoyed us about listening to anything on the radio. It's like, God damn it, I heard this song already. So we want to avoid that as much as we possibly can. So.
Yep. So, and then as far as I know, this counts as a listen for the bands too, which is pretty awesome. That was one of the first things I asked whenever we were doing this. I said, "So is this going to count as a listen for the band?" And they said, "Oh, most definitely." So
there you go.
The guy's got rights. He I guess he paid like something like $10,000 or something for yearly rights or some shit. I don't know. Right.
Motorhead did have more than just Ace of Spades. They absolutely did.
Yeah, actually, there's a few songs already on from Motorhead on our station. So most of it.
I heard Year of the Wolf the other day. So
yeah, Year of the Wolf song.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right. So that's actually another thing that I kind of like about what we do, because I know that a lot of the stuff that you've uploaded so far, and you and I'll have to get together. Maybe I can take a little bit of that burden off you. So we'll have to get together.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm trying to wait till they get their complete shit together.
Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But
the way I'm doing it now, it may change when they go to I don't know. So.
Oh no, that makes total sense. But what we do is like, I know a lot of the stuff that you've uploaded has been from like our theme of the week playlists. And what I like about those is when we're doing a theme, obviously, you're going to get, the hits that come through because the theme of the week we're doing a lot of our favorite songs. So a lot of times you're going to get, the hits from like Exodus and Maiden and Megadeth, whatnot. Right. But as we've dug into some of these and been like a little more specific on some of these themes, or here lately, we've been doing like the labels. Right. And when we do the labels, it kind of like opens it up more and kind of like expands it. So, you may end up with like some like, what do you call them? Some deep cuts, Yeah. So that's kind of nice.
Wow. So I will apologize. Like 90% of Megadeth's, I think, catalog is already on here. So. I was going through and I'm like doing the upload. I'm like, damn, is Megadeth on every one of these fucking playlists? Like there was a Megadeth song down there every week. I'm just like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
I
that's
mean, hey, they've put out a lot of good stuff. So.
yeah. I mean, 17 albums, you're gonna have a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I try to do the playlist mainly because it's got different artists on it
Right.
from different genres, and then
Right.
and then I don't want to go in and like upload all Metallica, all Megadeth,
Oh,
all
of course not. Yeah.
Judas Priest, all Iron Man, because then you only got 4 bands just looping. So it's kind,
Yeah.
it's
No,
kind
we
of
don't want that.
like eventually I'll go and do that, but I don't want to jump into that yet. So that's kind of maybe where I'll probably need a lot of help. That way we can divide up band names and just see what's on there, and then upload some more of their catalog. So
Yeah.
all right, well I guess we better break into some of these news stories.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess there's no point in holding off any longer. So, over at the PRP.com, unfortunately, we have to lead off again this week with another passing. Sad news has come in that Mean Pete Kowalski, known for his work in Remembering Never, Ether Coven, and more, has passed away. In early 2020, the metalcore hardcore vocalist was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. He spent the next few years undergoing surgery and treatment for the disease, experiencing ups and downs, even managing to take the stage at the 2021 Furnace Fest in Birmingham, Alabama. Unfortunately, however, his cancer returned. Zao revealed Kowalski's passing, sharing the below tribute on their social media on July 10th. Quote, absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of Mean Mike Kowalski. We shared many great times on the road and almost shared more. Any time around him was a good time, and the world was a better place with him in it. End quote. Numerous other tributes have since come in. From Unearth, rest easy, friend. Peter Kowalski was a talented musician, lyricist, and performer. He was also as genuine as people come and made the world a better place while he was here. Luckily for the rest of us, Mean Pete left behind a strong legacy of music to enjoy with Until the End, Remembering Never, X, Bishop X, and Ether Coven. Thanks for the friendship, music, and the memories. You will be forever missed. Evergreen Terrace posted, one of our first shows we played after signing with Eulogy was with Until the End down in Davie, Florida. All we know is that the band was brutal, the scene there can be rough, and the singer's name was Mean Pete. The show ended up being incredible, and Pete was a sarcastic, funny, smart, and very kind person, but most of all, welcoming. Evergreen later toured and played multiple shows with Remembering Never, and it was always like a family reunion when we all got together. The world is a little less brighter without you, Pete. Rest easy. And then Shai Hulud, I'm not exactly sure who that is, but anyway, says, too many memories to sift through, so much history, and so much more we should have shared, gone far too soon. We love you, Pete, and God knows we'll never forget you. Our deepest condolences to Pete's family, close friends, and countless fans feeling this tragic loss. And it doesn't say how old he was, but I mean, if he's older than 55, I would be stunned.
Yeah,
because he looks like he may be in his early 50s. Maybe, I don't know. I hate speculating on people's ages and shit like that because I'm not good at it, so I don't want to. But whatever his age is, he is absolutely gone too soon. So definitely our thoughts and condolences go out to his family and friends and all the fans everywhere, of course. So as always, fuck cancer. So
that's a good wrestling name too. Mean Mike Kowalski.
I'm telling you.
Missed that. All right, well, I'm going to continue this trend this week, which I don't normally get to pitch in on, but unfortunately I get to this week too. So, this one over from Metal Hammer, the artist who designed the iconic cross that appears on the cover of Guns N' Roses' album Appetite for Destruction has died. GNR guitarist Slash announced the death of Billy White Jr., who drew the cross as a tattoo for Axl Rose before the band became famous on Instagram. R.I.P. Billy White Jr., OG designer of GNR Lost Cross logos, and longtime friend of the band. You will be missed, wrote Slash. White was an art student in Long Beach, California, when he was introduced to the unknown Guns N' Roses in the mid '80s by his cousin. He was asked by Axl to design a tattoo for him after the singer spotted White's work on his cousin's wall. But one day Axl called and asked if I could draw him a tattoo after he'd seen a drawing I'd done on my cousin's wall. White told Culture Creature in 2016. I said sure, and we talked. The cross and skulls that looked like the band was Axl's idea. The rest was me. The knot work, in the cross was a reference to Thin Lizzy, a band Axel and I both love. White's image ended up on the cover of Appetite for Destruction after the original cover image, a painting by underground artist Robert Williams, was rejected by the band's label Geffen for being too controversial, and called again and said my design was going to be on the cover of everything because the Williams painting got rejected. White recalled in 2016, and I was okay with that. Since its release in 1987, Appetite for Destruction has gone on to sell more than 30 million albums worldwide. Billy White's pencil sketch of the original tattoo image sold at an auction for $6,875 in 2009. So, man, so another talented person gone. It didn't say how old he was either, but you got to think he would be in the same realm as Axel and them. So, probably mid-50s or so. So.
Yeah. Did it say what day that it was that he passed away this week? Did it say?
I think this was yesterday.
Okay, I'll put that down as the date, and if I
think that's
I just want to. Do we know the cause?
It didn't say any cause or
Okay.
anything. Yeah, nothing in the story anyway. I don't. There's other of course, publications that had it that may have had a different. I don't know, but I know at least 2 other ones had it. So
I'll look into it. I just want to make sure he gets added to the in memoriam list properly. So
yeah, but definitely pretty wild. Well, I mean, his of course his work's iconic and going to live on forever, even though he can't.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so staying over at the PRP, this one's interesting and is probably going to be a little bit of a ongoing situation. Hopefully, it doesn't drag out too long. But like I say, over at the PRP, this one came out a couple days ago. The subreddit for Gold Certified Alternative outfit Nothing More was rocked this week by the disturbing reveal of what appear to be genuine documents of a violent domestic incident filed against the band's vocalist Johnny Hawkins. According to the police report, which was shared via this subreddit, there's a hyperlink in the story. The incident took place in Louisiana late in 2021. Per the police report, Hawkins' significant other at the time, Kristen Gordon, who has since publicly come forward against Hawkins, was seen on surveillance footage being forcibly ejected from Hawkins' parked truck along with her belongings. She was ran over by the rear passenger wheel of the truck shortly after. The investigating officer said in the police report that was since shared online, quote, "I was able to observe the surveillance video received from Muro. The footage is dark and somewhat clear, but clear enough to observe the incident. On the video, I observed a white truck stopping abruptly in front of 636 Melody Drive. Shortly thereafter, the passenger door opens and some items are thrown out. A few seconds pass, then Gordon violently falls from the vehicle, landing flat on the ground. The passenger door is then closed from the inside. Gordon attempts to sit up and appears to reach under the truck, at which time the truck quickly accelerates, running over Gordon with the passenger side rear wheel. The truck's rear end can be seen raising up off the ground as it drives over Gordon. Gordon lies in the street, occasionally moving around until deputies arrive on scene. Let it be noted that the truck didn't return to the scene," end quote. Per the report, Gordon was hospitalized, sustaining a collapsed lung, broken spinal bones, and severe road rash. Gordon herself recently went on to post pictures of her injuries alongside allegations regarding the incident via Instagram, because, of course, why not post shit all over Instagram? While the posts were briefly made unavailable afterwards, they have returned via her private Instagram account and have been screenshotted at this Reddit post, another hyperlink. Gordon has since allegedly made several other posts implying that alcohol was involved and that she was hit by Hawkins prior to being ejected from the vehicle. According to this case report, Hawkins was initially charged with hit and run driving causing death or serious injury and a charge of vehicular negligent injuring. He was released on a $10,000 bond on March 11th of 2022. The case eventually made its way through the court, and while Hawkins initially entered a plea of not guilty to the charge of vehicular negligent driving, he later withdrew it and changed his plea to guilty. It appears that the hit and run causing death or serious injury charge was dropped. The last entry in the screenshots of the case file that has surfaced online are dated June 19th of this year. They find a civil money judgment having been issued and paid. Further court records state that Hawkins was sentenced to 12 months probation, and in addition to paying court fees and a fine, he was also ordered to complete 40 hours of community service. Responding to the situation having been made public, Nothing More issued the below statement on their social media on July 12th. Quote, "One terrible night does not define a person's life. Johnny has taken responsibility for his actions in his personal life, and he has been held accountable in the eyes of the law. We know Johnny better than anyone, and he is not a violent person. We've never witnessed or seen evidence of violence from him in any of his relationships. However, we all have witnessed physical abuse towards Johnny over the course of his most recent relationship. We have been by his side for the past year and a half, and we support the efforts he has taken to make things right. Mark, Daniel, and Ben." They continued, "Out of respect for Godsmack and Stained, we have decided to remove ourselves from the tour that starts next week, as well as our shows in Albany and Cleveland, while we deal with matters that are very personal and private to the band. We look forward to seeing you on the road in September." And then Johnny himself goes on to make a rather long statement that if you guys want to read it, you guys can go ahead. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 9 paragraphs long. So I mean,
Well,
for
the
yeah,
Instagram post was 4 different slides. So.
Yeah, so for not trying to deny Johnny obviously the right to share his side of the story and defend himself in any way.
Yes.
If you guys want to read that, then it's over at the PRP. It's over at other different sources, so you guys can find that on your own. But so we'll see what happens going forward, especially as it relates to the band itself. Johnny's basically going through his punishment. The case is basically closed.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens.
So
We'll see what happens moving forward.
So all this got brought on from Johnny breaking up with her. This is what one of the people in the camp said, not Johnny. And one of the people in the camp said Johnny came in, he brought him with him because he wanted to make sure he had a witness. Of course, that was probably smart from hearing what's going on. So, but he said he broke up with her, took all of his stuff and left. And then, 2 days later, there was all these posts trying to, defamate his character. So,
yeah.
I'm not, and Johnny even said on his, and I'll tell you a little bit about what it said in there because I read it, because I always try to read it all before I try to condemn somebody because
of course,
we know how that worked out so well for the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. So,
right. So yeah,
it's always best to have all of your info. Am I going to take a side? No, I'm not, because I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened. I can just go by what people have witnessed from the two people, from Johnny and Kristen. So
right. Well, it's one of those things where there's 3 sides to every story. One person's side, the other person's side, and then the truth is,
well, I know the one guy
in the middle. So
the one guy has worked with them. I don't remember if he was a sound guy or a merch guy. I think he may have been the merch guy for them. And he said he's been with them for years. And he has said that Johnny has apologized for her behavior many times at parties. So I'm guessing she gets a little tipsy and gets a little wild. But and then they didn't include in the story, Johnny told the story to where he was hit with a beer can while driving is one of the reasons he pulled over and kicked her out.
Well, there you go.
Left that part out, of course, because to me, it almost looks like when you was reading that, I kind of wanted to see what they said. I didn't read it because I knew you had the story, but I had read his Instagram because I follow those guys on Instagram. But I read that, like, oh wow. So I guess I wasn't going to say anything about it, honestly. Then you posted the story, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess we'll wind up talking about this then. But
yeah.
But I wanted to see what your story said before I kind of said anything because like I said, there is 2 sides to every story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like I say, I wasn't trying to gloss over Johnny's response or anything, but it is very long. So
for me, it seems like the publication is automatically making her look like a victim. The way they're writing their piece, and that's not really the way you should go about doing that, especially in a case like this, because they were both drinking. So he said that, yes, I ran. He said, obviously, I ran over her. I did not know I did that. But, I mean, of course, if you're intoxicated, you probably didn't. But he said he got a call from her at the hospital, or a friend of hers, or somebody at the hospital, and he said, I went back and sat with her at the hospital, helped her with rehabilitation. I was with her through all of that, and then here we are, almost 2 years later, and you're still with her. So I mean, obviously, and she dropped the charges from what he was telling me. And he showed a police report where he turned himself in. He turned himself in anyway. He said, "Well, I want to turn myself in anyway. I want to take care of all this and get it, put behind me." So he went in and did all that, and of course, that was the punishment you read with the the
probation and community service. Yeah,
and I think he said he spent 3 days in jail, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. Well, see, the funny thing is I haven't seen the video, but even from like the description of the incident of the police report, it kind of does sound like, he kicked her out of the vehicle and, threw her shit out. But then it sounds like, she fell and he didn't know where she was when he took off, but it ended up clipping her with the rear wheels, So, I mean, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound malicious at all. So.
No, I don't think he did it on purpose at all.
No, I don't think it's malicious or anything.
And I don't think she should be putting it out there like he did. That's kind of, especially over something like he says, it's a shut case. I mean, they've already did the investigations on it. He's already served his time and paid his dues and
right
and everything. So there's no reason to bring this back up. Now, if he beat your ass 2 nights ago, then that's different. But
that is different. Yeah, it absolutely is different.
Don't be bringing something up from 2021 that it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, honestly. But it's kind of thing I hate about this whole this kind of movement with this stuff is yes, okay. If you were victimized, I wholeheartedly am with you. I hope that you get the justice you deserve. But if you're out here playing people like we talked about the Rock's going through some shit that's supposed to happen 30 years ago. That's bullshit, man. Like, why are you waiting 30 years? Oh, I don't know. Let me wait till it becomes a multi-millionaire and say something like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
that rubs me a little bit of wrong.
And all this shit. I don't buy that shit, man, because first off, if you're in the South, man, you ain't got to fear for your lives because your uncles, cousins, and neighbors and everybody would gun on this motherfucker. So
yeah. Yep.
And that's when it supposedly happened while he was wrestling in Tennessee, which I think is bullshit. So, but in a sense, I do know how that time was, and the boys stuck together. So, I will say that. So, who knows? But I hope I do hope if it's bullshit, then it gets wiped away. But the thing that I hate about this is he's probably going to have to throw money at it to make it go away. That he should not have to do because.
Agreed.
How legit do we know this is if you're going to wait 30 fucking years? So, hell, the damn kid's probably grown by now. They were talking about how her and her kid both got kidnapped. So, so by him and several wrestlers, I'm just like, yeah. First off, let me explain something to you. There's in the rock music and stuff, you have groupies. In wrestling, you have rats, what we call rats, which is like a groupie for wrestlers. Now, these people lived in different towns. And that's where the wrestlers crashed when they were in town. So these women, while they were in town, so there was no reason for him to have to kidnap anybody because I'm sure he probably had a rat in probably 20 towns. So, it's kind of like I said, not to get off subject. I'm just saying, but that's kind of how this society's gotten to where, hell, I'll fix to go up and tell everybody I was victimized by somebody at this point. Like shit.
Yeah.
How long has The View been on? I've been victimized every how long that piece of shit's been on.
Right. Yeah. No kidding.
But anyway, yeah, I just hope that this kind of, like I said, from what I've heard, not from Johnny, but from people that knew them both, commented on the post, and and he even said it. I'm not taking sides. I'm just telling you what I saw since I've been with Nothing More. So, so when you look at the things they're saying, you're like, no, man, it's not looking really good for her at this point.
That's the thing is you just hope that if the story has to come out, that you can get the whole thing. The whole thing.
Which you're not going to get that with these publications because they're just trying to push it out to get clicks. So I mean, they're going to, I was one of the things I seen earlier, and I ignored it because it just the headline pissed me off. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's understandable too.
but,
Sometimes a headline is enough to just piss you off.
yeah. Anyway, hopefully they get that worked out and it doesn't really affect nothing more for a long period of time. Hopefully they can get back to touring. I mean, they just had an album out, so they need a tour. I mean,
yeah, they do.
And if not, I'm glad I got to see him when I did. So,
well, I have a very, very confident feeling that nothing more isn't gonna suffer too much from this. Maybe in the short term because they did drop off the tour, but
So, but Johnny's that type of guy though. Like I've told you before, I've made comments on his stuff and he's responded. So I mean, he's that kind of guy with his fans. So that don't give him a right to beat up nobody. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
like,
of course, no, of course not.
Like he seems like he's not that type of person. He seems like he's a more laid back guy.
And he
had videos and stuff with her. I mean, her and her kid. It's not even his kid. He actually took her with a kid. So I mean, he obviously cared about done that.
And he took 100% responsibility for everything he didn't deny anything, and so I mean,
yeah. And actually, like I said, she dropped the charges, and he still turned himself in, so he didn't even have to do that probably.
Yeah. But so I mean, took accountability, and no pun intended, face the music. But I mean, it's just
now there's nothing more to say.
Right.
Anyway, like I said, if there's updates on that, I'm sure we'll be
right.
Goes along. So
yeah,
like I said, hopefully it's not a long drawn out thing.
I don't see it being.
Yeah.
But you never know. Yeah.
Well, hey, girl, I'm just saying, if you got one rock star, you can get another. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, technically,
is Tommy Lee married these days?
To hepatitis still, maybe, I don't know. And I don't know if that's true. I'm just making a joke. Okay, I don't know if that's true. Just making a joke.
Vince, you can marry Vince, and that way you can never make out half of what he's saying, so you can just ignore him. So.
That is true. That's been documented. There's video of that. Yeah.
Ozzy's more coherent than he is these days.
Man, that's saying something.
Oh man! All right, we'll quit picking on Molly Cruz
for now.
Yeah, until they come out with some good music. So.
I will be 100. I'll be 100% honest. I will be interested to hear what they come out with John 5. I really will. So
even though it's like I still think it's shitty the way they did.
I do, but but I would still be interested to see what they come out with John 5. I won't lie.
Which I mean, he did kick another guitarist out of the band to get his spot, but
yeah.
Yeah, but the guy wasn't as good, so
sure
he couldn't play live wire. So
yeah,
I'm just going by the dirt movie. I don't know if that actually happened.
Right? Yeah,
I'm sure it probably did. But all right, this one over from Metal Hammer. This one I thought was kind of interesting. Avenged Sevenfold vocalist M. Shadows has discussed the ways in which he feels technology is having a negative impact on the way modern rock and metal is made. Speaking to Doc Coyle on the Bad Wolves Guitarist podcast, the X-Man Shadows opens up on the myriad influences that helped shape Avenge's radical new album Life is But a Dream, pointing out that despite some fans' assumptions, the album's lead single Nobody didn't feature any samples. Shadows then goes on to lament the way that technology has impacted heavy music in recent years. Quote, there's a lot of vocoder and things we're doing on this record, he explains, but we're not using Pro Tools vocoder, right? We brought out the keyboards, we're singing into stuff, we're talking through the talk box, but I think as you do that stuff and you do all those new forward thinking things in an organic way, I think it's just a knack to it's very cool. One thing that I think he continues is I've said this on Twitter, and you get old men yelling at the clouds. I think technology overuse is killing metal and killing rock. Everyone's using the same samples. They're using the same tools to fill out the speakers. They're brick walling their mixes. the vocals pop and it's way on the top. The normal person that listens to that, they're like, this just sounds like one straight line of something, but it's not appealing to me because there's no dynamic, there's no this or that. It's all sounds the same. I think that's why bands like Tool, bands like System, they really stand out because there's so much dynamic, there's so much realness happening. Well, okay, I don't know where your ears are in Shadows, but I'll digress on that. But,
yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I think there's a reason why rock has a hard time translating. He later adds some of these songs. I think, like, what would Master of Puppets sound like if drums were quantized? Everything was filled out on the speakers. Everything was perfectly tuned. It just wouldn't have the same thing that it makes you feel. Avenge's wild direction on Life is But a Dream has drawn extreme reactions from their fan base. Many hailing its ambition, others shocked about how far the band have strayed from their original sound. Speaking to Metal Hammer earlier this year, Shadows revealed that the band found some of the more intense negative reactions to new material hilarious. We were just laughing, the frontman said. That was more fun to us than someone saying, "Oh, this is great." We always gear towards a little bit of ruffling feathers, in quotes. So there's a little bit about it. And this is kind of where he's throwing me off because it wasn't long ago he was in a story talking about how he would welcome AI stuff. So I'm like, you can't have both, man. Like you can't bitch about technology and doing this and then say, oh, well, we need AI stuff.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You got to either be for it or against it. I mean, there's no in between. So
yeah, I'm like well, hell, I mean, anyone who was in the Facebook group saw my post when it pertained to the new album, and I'll stick by it because I'm allowed to have my opinion. They're allowed to have their opinion. Yeah. You know, so I'm not gonna, and I don't want, and I don't want anyone to apologize for their opinion on music, on sports, on anything. I mean, I think unless you're intentionally just trying to be an asshole, you're entitled to your own opinion. I honestly believe that, and I thought that the new Avenged Sevenfold album was garbage. I thought it when it first came out, and I don't see anything that's gonna change my opinion of it. And like I said in my post, I say that as a fan from the beginning of their career. I have been a fan of theirs from their career. So it's not like I just hopped on the bandwagon at some point. I have been an Avenged Sevenfold fan from the beginning, and they just completely fucking lost. They lost me on this one. Not forever, I hope.
Well, yeah,
but no. If I'm listening to A7X, it's their old shit.
It's Hail to the King and before. So
absolutely, yeah.
Because I mean, even the stage has some good songs on it, but
and we've said before that we still thought the stage as a whole was a miss. The stage is
better than this one. So.
Is like City of Evil compared to this thing.
Yeah, they went way off the.
They did. I just kind of hope. I just hope for the next one they steer the ship at least back in the general direction. You know what I mean? Just
at this point, I need to find a good balance with what they want to do and what their original sound was.
Yeah,
I think if they do that, they will probably kind of keep both fan bases happy. But I mean, at this point, Avenged Sevenfold don't need the fan base, obviously. But,
right. And we've said before, we're not against experimentation, and we're definitely not against evolution of a band's sound. Mm-hmm. But this was so far out. This was so far out in left field. It was ridiculous.
I mean, we even talked about like Disturbed's Evolution album. Like we both kind of like that album.
Yeah, I did.
A lot of shit on it. Like it's you just come out here and do that shit all the time. And then he comes out and don't do that, and they're like, "Hey man, this don't sound like Disturbed."
Exactly. Well, I mean, we've talked about that before too. I mean, your bands are literally damned if they do and damned if they don't. Right. So I mean, it's.
I mean, I guess the good thing to come out of that was there are some fans of Avenged Sevenfold that like the album. So I mean,
well, sure, and of course. I mean, it wasn't no album is ever going to be unanimously loved and unanimously hated. It just so happens that I hate it.
It's unanimous.
It's definitely 2-0 on the Metalheads Unite podcast. That's for sure.
Oh man.
All right. Well, hey, there you go. All right. Well, this one I found interesting. Going over to lambgoat.com. Haven't heard too much from them here lately, but I'm really surprised that Noah, I did not find this story at any of at least my other, sources. So I thought that was very strange. So over at lambgoat.com, on the 4th of July, Necrogoblicon, the Goblin metal band, took to Twitter to express their frustration with American Airlines for damaging and losing over $20,000 worth of their gear during a flight. The incident occurred as they were set to start their Midwest tour with Dropout Kings and Summoning the Lick. The band publicly called out American Airlines, criticizing their negligence and lack of care for their equipment. And then there's a bunch of different tweets in here. The first tweet says, "Thanks, American Airlines, for damaging and losing over 20K of our gear. Let's hope we can still play our shows this week, you negligent pieces of shit." And then American Airlines then responded on Twitter requesting more details to resolve the issue. Goodness, we're sorry. This is from American Airlines. Goodness, we're sorry to hear this. Please send a DM our way with your trip info and more details on this. Lambgoat reached out to the band for more information. They explained, quote, "Basically, they opened up and went through all of our gear and clearly put no effort into closing any of it correctly or handling it carefully. We had cases wide open that were missing crucial items and had a bunch of gear inside smashed," end quote. However, the situation escalated on July 11th when the band shared an update stating that the airline had offered them replacement luggage as compensation for their damaged gear. The American Airlines note read, quote, "We apologize for any inconvenience in your travel experience, and to quickly resolve this matter for you, we are pleased to offer you a quality replacement bag from one of our trusted business partners, Reynolds Luggage. Please use the unique link below that has been created especially for you to pick up your new bag," end quote. What's that?
It's the same Reynolds that makes the wrap.
Well, it's not Reynolds. It's like Rynolds, Rynnls. So yeah, I don't exactly know how to pronounce it, but and then as one would expect, this led to further dissatisfaction and resentment from the band. In another tweet says, "So after we filed a proper claim for the damaging of thousands of dollars in all caps of our gear, American Air has offered to compensate us with free luggage bags. Go fuck yourselves." If you're in the Midwest, be sure to catch Necrogoblicon, Dropout Kings, and Summoning the Lick on the following dates. And I know that we talked about this on Hitting the Road, so maybe pick up an extra piece of merch or two from the band to support, and especially now since they're out a bunch of gear. So yeah.
If you come out with that voice, you probably would have got everything back. So.
You might have.
But yeah, that was on, I want to say Metal Injection or Metal Suction.
Okay, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I did see that one other spot, but it was
okay.
But it was just that one out of the ones I look at, and I think I look at like 5 or 6. So
okay.
So it was crazy that there was only on one out of the ones I look at. So
yeah. So, it sucks for Necrogoblicon. So hopefully they get all that shit worked out. And it doesn't say anything about like whether they had shit insured or, I mean, I know they filed a complaint with American Airlines and who knows where it's going to go from there. I don't know if they're going to be sending up like a GoFundMe, like Nonpoint did when they had their trailer issue. So if they do, we'll pass it along. But for right now, I guess they're going to duke it out with American Airlines over that shit. But, American Airlines, get good, be better.
Be gooder.
Yeah. Do more gooder. Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah. Speaking of Nonpoint, they actually had a new single drop. So you guys
yes, they did.
A million watts.
Million watts.
Pretty good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that album. I don't know when it's supposed to be out. But,
yeah, we still haven't heard.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're probably going to be later in the year. So probably I imagine October, November, maybe. So.
Yeah,
hopefully,
maybe another, maybe at minimum another late year EP. Who knows?
Christmas, yeah. Actually, they're talking about doing a full length this time. So,
see, that would be good.
So I did see where Spirit Adrift pushed theirs back to August 18th, which kind of made me mad.
Oh well, I mean, that's not too bad. It's only a month out. That's not.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be out this month originally, and then they pushed it back.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's all good. As long as we get
Yeah.
one, it should be good. All right, this
Oh,
one from Blabbermouth. I'll probably be. You probably would fire me if I did not do this story, but because I think we've done all of these stories when they come out. So prepare to embark on an unforgettable journey as Iron Maiden's acclaimed free-to-play mobile game Legacy of the Beast joins forces
yeah.
with Swedish meddlers In Flames to deliver an epic new event in the dark. Following a string of successful partnerships, Legacy of the Beast proudly unveils another collaboration between Iron Maiden and In Flames, which promises an extraordinary gaming experience that will captivate metalheads and gamers alike. This year, Iron Maiden's official mobile game has already forged formidable alliances with Motorhead, introducing Snaggletooth and Anthrax, welcoming Knotman into the Legacy of the Beast universe. Now get ready for the arrival of Jesterhead, In Flames' iconic mascot, as he joins forces with Eddie, the legendary Iron Maiden mascot, to execute a daring plan, the closure of the gates.
Mm-hmm.
Closure of the gates to hell. Sorry, I didn't finish all that out. Sorry. Looks like a Sam and Dean Winchester there, man. Close the gates to hell.
Right.
In an
Yeah.
engaging twist within the game's immersive storyline, players will accompany Eddie, the newly appointed ruler of hell, as he embarks on a mission to revolutionize the game's realms. Recognizing the urgent need to seal the gates to purgatory once and for all, Eddie seeks the assistance of Jesterhead, a powerful demigod known for sorcery and magic. Together, they face the daunting challenge of sealing these ancient gates. Prepare for an exciting week-long event where you'll unleash your inner metal warrior and battle against the forces of darkness, inspired by the lyrics and music of In Flames. In the dark, immerses players in a captivating storyline drawn from the depths of their renowned albums. Anders Frieden, lead singer for In Flames, says, quote, to see our Jesterhead next to Iron Maiden's Eddie is surreal. Growing up on the music of Iron Maiden and being inspired by the visual side of the band, they were one of our big influences when In Flames started. We are honored and beyond excited being part of this game. Being kids from Gothenburg, Sweden, dreams can come true and it can become real. Never stop believing. Up the irons. End quote. Step into the shoes of one of the most iconic mascots in metal history and prepare for a journey like no other in Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast. You become Eddie himself, traveling through time and space to explore a mind-bending array of worlds with stunning 3D graphics and captivating environments. You'll feel like you're right there beside Eddie as he unleashes his special powers and abilities. From the earliest forms to the latest incarnations, Eddie is ready to take on anything the game throws at him, and so are you. Navigator Games CEO Will Moore says, In Flames are one of the unequivocal pioneers of melodic death metal and have shared the stage with Maiden numerous times. So we wanted to do this collab for ages. We had a great time working with them on the In the Dark dungeon and developing Jesterhead, one of our most awesome playable characters. Over the years, Legacy of the Beast has expanded into 38 dungeons and 60 story worlds, or six story worlds, sorry, six. From the pits of hell, ancient Egypt, and World War II to the far future, with hundreds of characters, including over 100 Eddies based on classic Maiden album covers, and vast array of enemies, corrupt demons, Lucifer, Baphomet, gods, Horus, Osiris, and Odin, and monsters, a bloody player versus player battle arena, and a ruthless gauntlet feature designed to satisfy new players and hardcore long-term players. The clans feature allows players to join forces with their blood brothers to complete team tasks and face off against monstrous raid bosses, and to an in-game soundtrack to close to 60 Iron Maiden tracks, including The Trooper, Where Eagles Dare, Aces High, and more. The Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast is an action-packed, free-to-play mobile game on the Apple's App Store and Google Play. So there you go.
Very nice.
Another insert of a band in the Legacy of the Beast games.
Yep. All right, so let's get into some lineup news. Staying over the PRP for my last few, a couple of short ones. Californian deathcore outfit Spite have found themselves down another member following the exit of drummer Josh Miller late last month, which I also reported on. Guitarist Lucas Garrigas has now announced that he has also left the outfit. He addressed his exit via Instagram, offering, quote, "I have decided to step down from my position in spite. The past 8 years have been amazing, and I've made so many incredible memories. I am very grateful for this experience. I just feel that it's time for me to find a different route for my life. Thank you to everyone who was a part of this wild ride," end quote. So there you go. Quick and to the point.
Yeah. Was there a story I did about them too? Oh no, was that Spike? I can't remember.
Oh, could have been.
Let's see. I figured while we were talking about it, I would try to. I thought I may have posted it on the Facebook page. Yeah. Oh, no, it's something. I'll talk about that in the headlines then. I just wanted to make sure I said, well, I got an opportunity to mention it while we're on the subject. So
Made sense.
All right, this is my last story over from Metal Sucks. This one is kind of interesting, especially since we kind of played David Draymond's video on this topic on the show a couple of weeks back. So.
Yep.
Hell, even prior to the pandemic, Americans were dealing with major mental issues, whether onset through personal experiences and chemical imbalances, or external things like returning from a war or experiencing some sort of trauma. Many of us need help coping. One person that's recently made the rounds after going public with his mental health struggles is none other than Disturbed's frontman and Tinder user, David Draymond. They make sure they put Tinder user in it. After tearfully sharing his struggles on stage and then promising his fans he's going nowhere after receiving an outpouring of support, the vocalist shared the honesty fucked up amount of hoops and red tape he's had to go through in order to find any mental health care in the States while speaking with the charismatic voice, as transcribed by Blabbermouth. My quote is, "My biggest critique of the status quo is that we don't have enough support. A phone number isn't enough. It's just not. For many, it takes a tremendous amount of courage to go ahead and dial that number in the first place. And let's say that you're in a position like I am. What am I going to do? Call an 800 number? I can't do that. So finding help when you finally get to the point where you're crying out for it should be easier to get. When I was at my low point, like about 3 months ago, and I had just said goodbye to my dog of 14 years, my best friend. I'm in this house that I got specifically because I had the dog, 110-pound male Akita, my Gabrielle, my guardian angel, and now I'm in this house all alone, and my son isn't with me, and I'm divorced, and I'm not feeling well, and everywhere I look, I see my dog. Everything reminds me of him. I reached out and I tried to get help, and it was unfucking believably frustrating. Everybody is unavailable. Nobody's taking new patients. They want you to do this evaluation, or they want you to do this evaluation, that evaluation. Do you have any money for it? Can you qualify for it? Is it within your insurance plan? And fuck you enough. I'm telling you, it's like you get to the point to where you're vulnerable enough that you're desperate and you need help. Fucking help me. I end up going to one therapist, and she ended up telling me she didn't have enough time to cure me and pawns me off on 3 other therapists. That didn't have enough time to cure me. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard at all. It shouldn't be as much of a business as it is. For those of you that don't live in the U.S., our entire healthcare system is for profit. This means procedure, every visit, every ambulance ride, everything that has a cost. Whether you pay it or you pay an insurance company to cover most of the costs, you're still likely putting out some of your hard-earned cash so you can get better and not fucking die. Mental health in the U.S. is a major issue, as Draymond points out, because there seems to be a stigma around admitting you need help, even though the National Alliance on Mental Health estimates that approximately 20% of U.S. adults experience mental illness each year. People classically have viewed it as a weakness. Now, why can't you use logic and reason and the beauty that you're surrounded by in your life to dispel what's happening to you? It's because it's not under your control. Logic and reason don't respond to it. You can make all the sense in the world. What's happening to you doesn't make sense. It's no different. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and it couldn't be more true. It's no different than cancer. You don't have control over cancer. It eats away at you from the inside. It mastatizes if you allow it to. And you can't be blamed for depression or addiction, even for that matter, any more than you can for contracting cancer or some other debilitating disease. You don't want it. You're not asking for me. You're not too weak, and that's why you succumb to it. Um, it's out of your control. Ultimately, Draymond said that he's thankful for his family and people around him who've helped him with cope with these things he's been feeling. Sadly, that's not the case for many people, since the average day delay between experiencing mental illness symptoms and treatment is about 11 years. God, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. If you or someone you love is dealing with a mental health issue and need help, please seek professional assistance. And while it's not a total solution, you can always call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988, which we've talked about on here a few times already.
I do know that I don't know like how good or how credible it is, but I mean I have seen commercials for this app. It's called Talkspace.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean it's at least another option that's out there. I have seen commercials for it, so
and hey, I'm going to tell you this: we at Metalheads Unite, you're looking at the two people that control that page. There's nobody else that can see that. So if you want to message me or Chris, please reach out. We will.
Yeah.
I mean, you just need somebody to talk to. That's fine. We'll talk to you. I mean, these things are in your hand 90% of your days. So I mean, and I check my Facebook often just to see updates for stuff for the show or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, send us. I mean, reach out to us on Facebook. Reach out to us at our email. Drop us an email.
And I'll say this: I've recently experienced anxiety, which I've never had in my life. And I thought I was dying because I'm just like, my chest was tight. I'm like out of breath. I'm like, what the hell? Am I having a heart attack? What the fuck's going on? And then, and it just kind of like, 15 minutes goes by and it goes away. And I was telling my wife about it. And she said, "Oh, welcome to anxiety." I'm just like, "What the fuck? Are you serious?" She said, "Yeah, it's not like you had a panic attack." I'm like, "What the fuck for?" I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
So it is kind of wild how it's more or less kind of a chemical imbalance, maybe, because it kind of hits you out of nowhere, and it's not something that triggers, which is kind of crazy with anxiety and depression. You really don't have to have a trigger. I mean, it could just hit you for no apparent reason. I mean, I've seen people crying in their cars. You know what I mean? Like that's, like people I've worked with be crying in their car, and I'll say, "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm just having a bad day." And I'll talk to them or whatever, and it's just like it's and like to me, I'm sitting there thinking, God, it's just crazy to have to feel this way, and not. And I will attest to what he's saying about the help, because I have a family member trying to get help now, and this person's booked up. Don't take patients. That's what I'm saying. Like, no new patient. We have some of the best insurance out there that I've ever had, so there's no reason like anybody should turn that away. So, but it's crazy to see that actually in action. Like I said, I worked in a pharmacy for 20 years, and I've dealt with insurance companies, and let me tell you, we in the pharmacy business get the shit end of the deal, because we have the doctor blaming us, and then we have the insurance company blaming us, and it's usually never our fault because we're the middle guy. So
yeah, then you have a patient who needs something that could be upset with you too. It's like, look, we don't want to give you your medicine. It's that they won't let us give you your medicine.
Right. Yeah, and then of course a lot. And let me tell you this from experience: you'll get on the phone and with the insurance company and be like, "Oh, well, they said we can't get this." Blah 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 blah. "Oh no, tell them to rerun it. It's fine." And then we'll rerun it, and it'll go through because they've overridden it on their side and trying to make us look like we're jackasses. So and it like pisses me off. And I'll tell the patients, they overrode that, right? Because I'll show you the rejections. I'll print them out. So.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we're waiting on doctors, we're waiting on insurance companies, and we're in the middle. And that's why I left, because I wasn't getting paid enough to be in that spot.
No shit.
That is one of the most under fucking paid jobs there is. I think anything healthcare wise is underpaid and underappreciated. Because, like he said, the only people that making money in the healthcare business is the people running the fucking healthcare business. So, not even like the insurance companies. I mean, you're talking a lot of the insurance companies are invested in by a lot of the politicians. So, and we know how that kind of goes.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, sorry.
That's a different subject for a different show altogether. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, but the thing is, like, if you can seek help, seek help. We want you to.
Don't give up hope.
Hey, let me tell you something. Like, if it wasn't for going to shows, I would probably lose my fucking mind, because I mean, that's really my release, is going to shows live and just listening to music. And I don't know if anybody's following our pages or anything, but I posted a video of like one of the craziest circle pits I've ever fucking seen.
Saw it.
Was it Hellfest? I think it was.
I can't remember the venue, but yeah, it was Soulfly, wasn't it?
There was that one too, but I was.
Oh, was there a different one?
Yeah, there was a Hellfest circle pit, which was crazy because it was going almost in an S shape all the way through the crowd, and they was like different circles.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
So crazy! Like, if you looked at it dead on, it looked like 2 figure eights coming at you. Like, one was going this way and one was going that way, and I'm just like, what the? Like, this is
I'm gonna have to find that one.
That was the Hellfest circle pit. That was pretty wild.
Oh, okay.
But when I posted that, I was like, I'm 47. I spent 20 years in the wrestling business, not doing good things to my body. So when there's nothing I would love more than to jump in the middle of some of these pits and shit like that and have a good time. But I can't.
Yeah, I can't either.
I'm just not. I'm not built that way anymore. So, but I do love watching everybody else enjoy themselves doing it, though. It's pretty wild.
Me too. All right, I got a couple more. Staying over at the PR.
Yeah, I only have headlines left. So
okay, staying over the PRP. Full of Hell have officially bolstered their ranks to a quintet, with Gabe Solomon having newly been made a permanent member. Solomon had previously been filling in with the band. A statement issued by the Ocean City, Maryland Grinders on July 12th confirmed the news, and it reads as follows, quote, "If you've seen us in Europe over the past year, you probably noticed our friend Gabe covering guitar duties and absolutely killing it. Today, we are proud to welcome him as a full-time touring second guitarist in Full of Hell. Our first tour as a 5-piece will be on our Fall USA tour. Can't wait to elevate everything to a new level of insanity. Please welcome Gabe Solomon to the team," end quote. And just a little bit of a spoiler alert. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about that tour coming up later in the show. And then last but certainly not least, after a violent altercation led to the ejection of their vocalist Duncan Bentley, also a story we talked about here on the show, Vulvodynia have announced Lawandile Prusent as their new vocalist. He previously held the guitar duties in the outfit. In other news, the band have already begun recording sessions for their next studio album. A statement from the South African deathcore group on the lineup shift can be found below, along with this video of Prusent in action. The statement reads, quote, "We're extremely excited to finally announce our new vocalist, Lawandile Prusent. Lawandile joined Vulvodynia as a guitarist, but has now made the jump to vocals, and we couldn't be more stoked. Check out this video of him showing off his skills, as well as a sneak peek at some new music. We all hope you're just as excited as us for the new future of Vulvodynia. Vocal recording has begun for our new album, and it's sounding incredible. Here's a short quote from Lawandile. Quote, hey everyone, so I've become the new vocalist of Volvo, and it's been a challenging transition, but I don't plan on letting the people who support us down. I am still the guitar player of this band and always will be. It just might take a while before you see me with one on stage again. Peace and love," end quote. The band made headlines this past May when Bentley left drummer Thomas Hughes hospitalized with a broken nose during a physical altercation on the road. Bentley himself later addressed the matter through this statement. And like I say, we went through all that, so we're not going to rehash. So congratulations to Lawandile for the promotion. So
awesome.
I do love these little sound effects. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit more interesting. So.
Yeah, it does. So that's all the current events news I had.
So yeah, headlines. I guess I can kick off here. Documentary about the late Snot singer Lynn Strait is in the works.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things I shared on the page there. That I was talking about. Snot and what was the band you was talking about earlier? Blank.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what context you're meaning.
Yeah, it was like 2 stories ago. You were talking about one of the bands that started with that. Spite.
Hell.
Spite.
Yeah, Spite. Yeah, there it is. Spite.
So I was like, Spite. Is that Spite or Snot? I couldn't remember. So
Yeah.
So there was another story that yeah. So Taylor Hawkins' London tribute concert was nominated for an Emmy, which is fucking awesome. That is so cool. That they got nominated for that. So Darkest Hour signs to MNRK Heavy, and they were going to release a new album in 2024. Blood Incantation is recording a new album, so any of those fans of that band, Dying Fetus announced a new album, and then Make Them Beg for Death was a new single that they just put out. So, and it's official. Judas Priest is replacing Ozzy on the Power Trip Festival. So Ozzy, we shared a story about that too, saying he said his body was just telling me he wasn't ready, so he decided to pull out of that. So it's unfortunate, but I'd rather him save himself to when he can perform if he is able to ever go back to it. But I think I'm like you, right? I want to remember Ozzy the way he was, not in a crippled state trying to make one last hoorah, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if he gets back to a point where Ozzy can be Ozzy, jumping around on stage, doing the little clapping thing that he always does, and so but yeah, the whole idea of him I'll get out there even if I have to sit down. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But I mean, that's a great replacement though, nonetheless. So
Priest, oh yeah, absolutely. Hell, Priest probably should have been on the bill, or from the get go anyway.
Well, I mean, they probably were. I mean, they were recording an album, so that may have been kind of hindering them in the beginning. But
that's true.
I accidentally hit show the comment. I didn't mean to. So D. Snyder says the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't respect metal. They're elitist motherfuckers. Well, we already know that. So
yes.
We've stated our status on that already. So.
Yep.
It's funny, it keeps coming up though. I think there's some artists always wants to let them know, hey, you still suck.
Yep. It's good to remind them every now and then because it's still true.
Yeah. Illness forces yet another Fallen in Reverse show cancellation in Iowa. So man, Fallen in Reverse has not had a good year with that. So
no. Was it too cold in the venue again?
I have no idea what it was. I didn't even look, honestly. I'm just I mean, we've beat that horse to death. So
yeah.
Really. Jason Newstead used to sweat so much he'd wreck his bases. He had to put a sweat protector on them. I'm like, Jesus. That's man. Somebody would probably buy that at an auction with sweat all over it for millions of dollars.
Hey, just real quick, are you hearing an echo of me on your end every now and then?
No.
Okay, because I'm getting one of me every once in a while. I don't know what that's all about. I just curious.
It may be the little sound bar thing here. I don't know.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure real quick, but I don't get it all the time. It's been coming and going. So
yeah, tell them then.
Okay.
So NASA's using the Metallica Fuel song to hype up their upcoming Artemis mission. That's pretty cool. Like Metallica needed any more recognition, but there you go.
No shit, right? Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin has a lot of music recorded for their next studio album, so that's probably going to be something added into 2024.
Probably.
New Testament drummer Chris Dovas shared his DNR Do Not Resuscitate audition video. I didn't get to see it, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that, so if anybody wants to go check that out. So,
well, the cool thing is we actually got to see Chris Dovas play live in Nashville. So
we did. He was filling in for Lombardo,
and he did a very good job.
He did. So,
and hell, when we saw that show, I think he only had a week's notice to get to.
I think they said 2. I think he said
2 weeks. Okay, well, still very short notice, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, you got to learn a Testament catalog in 2 weeks. Man. That's you did a hell of a job with it, though. So.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they probably just gave him the playlist. Hey, here's what we're playing, man. Just learn this right now.
Well, still to learn all the timing and tempo changes and everything else. Yeah, I mean, Jesus
You're
Christ.
looking at probably at least 15 songs a night that he had to learn, and there was probably a couple of different ones thrown in there. So
yeah,
you probably on a just an estimated thing. Probably say I would say he had to learn 28 to 30 songs like within 2 weeks. So. Anyway, if you hadn't seen this, Lamb of God's Randy Blythe cut off his dreads for the first time in nearly a decade, which is like that's going to be crazy seeing him up there without this.
Since the Sacrament album.
Yeah. So I don't know if hopefully he donated them at least. I mean,
I guarantee you he did. I guarantee you he did.
That seemed like something he would do for sure.
He donated them to Brian Fair.
Wow. Oh God, that one deserved a thing, and I missed it. So, Fear Factory guitarist says venues taking cut of artist merchandise sales is making it harder for bands to survive, which we've kind of talked about that a lot already. But yeah, I definitely could see that. Taylor Hawkins' London Tribute concert. I just talked about that. Nita Strauss on her recovery from meniscus repair surgery says she's about 90% right now, which is great.
Good.
I guess she better be glad she didn't have to propose, so she would have to get on one knee.
Right.
Yeah, which was my good one.
Yep.
Danny Filth admits that he would feel uncomfortable wearing Cradle of Filth's infamous Jesus T-shirt today. He said, "I don't want to spit in my food."
Right.
Well, I mean, as long as you don't go to Chick-fil-A, you're probably all right. So.
True. Or Hobby Lobby.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they don't serve food.
Well, that's true, but I mean, you know.
Bruce Dickinson broke a gong mallet at an Iron Maiden show before pretending to play it like a flute and then giving it a lick.
Ew. What the hell, man?
There's actually video of that too.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, so you have to look at it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty funny. It was a really cool, like didn't even miss a beat too. It was like I was like the shit just flew up and landed, and he's just like landing like a flute. Like, what the hell? So you couldn't have they played it off really well. So
yeah, you got to think on your feet up there.
Like Herman Lee of Dragon Force couldn't get any crazier. The Dragon Force guitarist nailed the notoriously hard Through the Fire and Flames solo while he was underwater. That's pretty wild, dude.
Yeah, it is.
That'd be like playing a Jason Newsted bass. I guess the same difference.
Ew, yeah. Gross. So gross.
They're both underwater.
Yep.
But that is I think that's all. Let me make sure I didn't have anything here I wanted to mention.
The only one that I remember seeing that you didn't have is that they're coming out with like an AC/DC Monopoly for like the 50th anniversary of AC/DC.
Yeah, I know there was another one like Iron Maiden and Monopoly or something you talked about like a week or so ago.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. And so I wanted to bring this up again because this is something kind of I posted it on the page, and then Blabbermouth is getting really bad about this. So John Witherspoon doesn't see Seven Dust ending anytime soon. So my thing was someone has to ask these questions for him to respond this way at all. So I don't understand. Like, why ask the band this question? Let them decide when they want to be done. I mean, like you don't want to push them. Why are you trying to push them out? What the fuck? But I mean, I don't know. I just like where these interviewers get their fucking shit from. I have no idea. If you got a degree in this shit, you need to go take that son of a bitch back and get a refund, because if you're asking stupid questions like that,
ask new questions.
Stupid. And like there was two other stories like that on there too from Blabbermouth. Same thing. Oh, well, so and so's not ready. Well, fuck. Like, why do y'all keep asking this shit?
I have been seeing it more and more.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Man.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a band on this show, and we're like, hey, so when are you done?
No, yeah, we will. Yeah, we're never going to ask that question. We'll never ask that.
Mine's going to be like, when's the new album coming out?
Exactly. Yeah.
We need new music.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, which reminds me, I got to check in with somebody about that. So I haven't talked to him in a while, and I'll see how that album's coming.
Yeah, I've got a couple emails I need to send myself, so
All right.
I do.
All right. So I guess we can go into our hitting the road segment here.
Yes, sir.
Only covered the one thing because it was festival related, and it's actually a story.
Okay.
So other than that, I'm gonna let you roll with whatever you have. So
Yeah, I don't have a ton again this week, which is kind of nice.
yeah, I know there was a couple of big ones I was wanting to talk about, and I was like, well, hell, man, I know he's gonna have them, and this is kind of a long story, so I'll just kind of hit it at the end of the story and go into hitting the road from it. So
Cool. All right.
All right, this one actually was over at Blabbermouth. The annual Monsters of Rock cruise, one of the world's premier hard rock and heavy metal fans' immersive music cruises, is returning for its 12th year. A promoter on the Blue Cruises has announced a 5-day, 5-night full ship music charter will set sail on March 2nd through the 7th in 2024 aboard the Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas and depart from the port of Miami. Dubbed the Dirty Dozen, next year's voyage will include 2 days at sea full of music and events, performances from over 30 artists on multiple stages, 2 unforgettable ports of call, Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and Nassau, Bahamas. Photo experiences with artists, theme nights, and special events with the world's best rock community. Cabins are on sale now, starting at $1,899 a person. Double occupancy, not including mandatory taxes and fees supplement. So you're probably looking at $2,000 easy.
Mm-hmm.
The lineup for the Monsters of Rock 2024 include Joe Satriani, Extreme, The Darkness, Winger, Ace Frehley, KK's Priest, Sept, Queensryche, Quiet Riot, Y&T, Glenn Hughes performing all of Deep Purple's classics, April Wine, TNT, Crazy Licks, Slaughter, British Lion, Firehouse, Vixen, Heat, Armored Saint, Richie Kotzen, Fester Pussycat, Soto Beeler, Dangerous Toys. Oh, look, Dangerous Toys. Lizzie Borden, Enough Enough, Spread Eagle. No, she didn't. Black Black and Blue, Joe Hoxtra, Pat Travers Band, Crash Diet, Bane Tango. Hey, look, Bane Tango. Tough, Heaven's Edge, Treat, Paradise Kitty, and Kalido. So, plus official cruise host Eddie Trunk from VH1 and Sirius XM, and a cast of other hosts who will be moderating question and answer sessions, and a bevy of activities on board. In addition to performances, Monster of Rock 2024 will host interactive events between artists and cruisers, including artist cruiser Q&A sessions, gong show karaoke, so you think you can shred, cooking with rock stars, a new cast of painting with rock stars, rockers versus average Joe sporting event, comedy punchlines and backlines, and more to be announced. The award-winning Independence of the Sea is giving the Caribbean an injection of new adventures. This is the third of Royal Caribbean's Freedom-class vessels, and it recently received a massive makeover as part of the cruise liner's Royal Amplified program, which includes the addition of new bars and restaurants. Spanning the length of Deck 5, the 4-story boardwalk allows guests to stroll into restaurants and cafes, stop in to do some shopping, and grab a drink before the next show. Not to mention, this vibrant and exciting hub will connect cruisers to the 2 fantastic indoor main concert venues, Royal Theater and Studio B. Plus, as always, the legendary massive pool stage will not disappoint. With so much to do on this ship, you will never find yourself bored. Get your blood pumping as you speed to the bottom of the dual racing water slides. Pamper yourself in the world-class vitality at the Sea Spa. Hang 10 on the Flow Rider surf simulator, or score an awesome time in game-changing grub at Playmaker Sports Bar and Arcade. Located on the north coast of Jamaica, the town of Ocho Rios is adorned with beautiful golden beaches, juxtaposed against its jungle-covered mountains. This backdrop allows for a myriad of unique excursions for guests to enjoy, including river rafting and tubing, swimming with dolphins, and exploring the Green Grotto caves, relaxing on the beach, or a day enjoying Jamaican rum and local cuisine. Ocho Rios is famous for Dunn's River Falls, Jamaica's national treasure, where guests can spend the day scaling this spectacular waterfall or exploring its limestone rocks while refreshing in the refreshing pools along the way. The second stop on the Monsters of Rock 2024 is Nassau, whose port just got an extensive $300 million makeover, taking almost 4 years to complete. The upgrades include a complete revamp of the waterfront area, including repairing and expanding Prince George Wharf, additional berths, and a brand new terminal. Not to mention, there will be event and entertainment spaces, and an amphitheater hosting up to 3,500 people, a living choral exhibit, as well as local food vendors and shops for guests to pursue. Nassau's best attractions are walking distance from where the ship docks, from Atlantis Aquaventure and Dolphin Encounter tours to relaxing at Blue Lagoon Island Beach Day. The Bahama Islands are magnificent, and Nassau is their crown jewel, guaranteed to make Monsters of Rock 2024 a vacation to remember. So there you go. There's all the details for your Monsters of Rock 2024 cruise trip. So
Nice.
For those that can afford it, I guess. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't have $4,000 to go on a cruise, but it must be nice.
Yeah, well, it'll still be an interesting time for the people who do get to attend that, though.
I would love to go on one of those just to be, brushing elbows with some of these guys. So. Especially John Bush being an armored, big Armored Saint fan. So.
Right.
And I can see Jason McMasters again going, "Hey,
that's true. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I bet he would remember you too. It would probably take him a second, but he would like, oh shit, yeah. But yes, I guarantee you, he'd probably remember you. All right. So this week, the July 8th through the 14th, for hitting the road, starting off at the PRP like always. Helmet is going to be going to Europe and to the UK starting November 8th in Prague, Czechia at Lucerna Music Bar, finishing December 13th in London, England at the Tufnell Park Dome. Carnifex, Signs of the Swarm, To the Grave, and The Last 10 Seconds of Life will be doing a tour of the United States this fall, starting October 11th in Tucson, Arizona at The Rock, finishing November 11th in Los Angeles at the Belasco. No Nashville date for that tour, but they will be in Murfreesboro, Tennessee at Hop Springs Beer Park on October 19th. Megadeth. Yeah, that venue's picking up some really decent tours.
I plan on checking it out in September. So
we should do that. Megadeth and Biohazard are going on a September mini tour starting September 15th in Grantville, Pennsylvania, the Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse, finishing September 23rd in Plymouth, Indiana at the Plymouth Motor Speedway. There's only 5 dates altogether, but so Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Jersey, Windsor, Ontario, and Plymouth, Indiana. So Periphery is going on a November headlining tour with Mike Dawes, starting November 6th in Denver, Colorado at the Bluebird Theater, finishing November 16th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Soundstage. No Nashville date there. Dying Fetus, The Acacia Strain, Despised Icon, and Tactosa are going out starting October 17th in Cincinnati, Ohio at Bogarts, finishing November 18th in Baltimore, Maryland at Rams Head Live. No Nashville date there. Corey Taylor has announced a fall European and UK tour starting November 8th in Leeds, England at the O2 Academy, finishing November 24th in Tilburg, Netherlands at 013. Asking Alexandria is going to miss their festival appearances at Upheaval Fest, Rock Fest, and Incarceration Festival due to James Castle's fractured foot. And that's kind of important because he's a drummer. So, kind of got to have 2 feet. Unless you're Nico McBrain, because he only plays, one bass drum anyway. Judas Priest is going to replace Ozzy at Power Trip. We just talked about that. Tesseract, Unprocessed, Intervals, Alluvial, and the Callous Dowboys are going on a North American tour this fall, starting October 5th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Underground, and finishing November 13th in Nashville at the Brooklyn Bowl. Nice. Holy Fawn and Cara Cara are going on a tour of the United States this fall, starting October 2nd in Austin, Texas at the Empire Control Room, finishing October 27th in Phoenix, Arizona at the Crescent Ballroom. No Nashville date. Weed Eater and King Parrot are going on a U.S. tour this summer, starting August 5th in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Rock City Fest, and that's going to be Weed Eater only. Finishing September 11th in Greensboro, North Carolina at Hangar 1819. No Nashville date there. Greg Puciato is going on a solo tour of Australia in January of 2024 with King Yosef and Trace Amount, starting June. Not June either. January 17th in Brisbane at the Bright Side. January 18th in Sydney at Crowbar. January 19th in Adelaide at Lion Arts. January 20th in Melbourne at Max Watts, and January 21st in Perth at the Amplifier Bar. King Joseph will not be at that date. Full of Hell and Inter Arma and Wake are going on a tour of the U.S. this fall. That's a show I alluded to earlier. Starting October 26th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Underground Arts, finishing November 18th in Brooklyn, New York at Monarch, no Nashville date. Converge, Def Club, Elizabeth Color Wheel, and Entry are going on a tour of the West Coast, starting September 29th in Los Angeles at the Echoplex, finishing October 8th in Pomona, California at the Glass House. Matt Pike of High on Fire and Sleep will be going on an August solo tour, starting August 1st in Oakland, California at the Stork Club, finishing August 8th in Boise, Idaho. The venue has yet to be announced. Jungle Rot and Forced, Phobophilic, and Molder are going out in September, starting September 7th in Chicago, Illinois at the Cobra Lounge, finishing September 23rd in Iowa City, Iowa at Wildwood, no Nashville date. Moving over to blabbermouth.net, Meshuggah, In Flames, and Whitechapel are going on a North America tour, starting November 21st in San Diego, California at Soma, finishing December 16th in Laval, Quebec at Bell Place. Voivod will actually be appearing at that show. No Nashville date on that tour, unfortunately. Last in Line is going on a summer and fall tour of the United States, starting September 1st in Fresno, California at Tower Theater, finishing December 16th in Portage, Indiana at the Decibels at On the Rocks. Last in Line will also be making an appearance on the Rock Legends Cruise, taking off from Miami, Florida from February 22nd to the 26th of 2024. Lita Ford is going on a not a North American tour, a U.S. tour, starting July 13th. So, the tour started last night in Pickerington, Ohio at Picktown Palooza, finishing December 17th in Dallas, Texas at the Factory at Deep Ellum. No Nashville date there. And last but not least, I'm super excited for this one, even though it's a European tour, because this one is going to have one of the friends of the show on it. Sepultura, Warbringer, Propane, and Extinction AD are going to be touring Europe in August, and that's a hell of a lineup, man. I mean,
yes, that's a great lineup.
That's a great lineup. I'm happy for Extinction AD, I really am. Yeah. And that's going to be starting August 10th in Jaromir, Czechia at the Brutal Assault Fest, finishing August 25th in Warstadt, Germany at the Newborn Fest. So that's all I have for Hitting the Road. But speaking of bands who are friends of the show going to Europe, I want to update everybody on Hidden Intent and their GoFundMe fundraiser. I believe when I brought it up last weekend, I think they were at like $5,300, give or take. Well, as of right now, I have the page pulled up, and as of right now, they are up to $6,622 out of the $10,000 they are looking for. So got a pretty nice little bump over the last week, which is cool. And I saw something that they posted. I can't remember if it was Facebook or Instagram. I know they're kind of more or less one and the same, but they're actually getting ready to leave to go over this weekend. So they will be taking off to head over there this weekend. Super duper happy for those guys. And if you can help out at all, go to GoFundMe.com and search for Hidden Intent. Donate what you can if you can.
Make sure there wasn't something else.
But that's Hitting the Road for July 8th through the 14th.
Trying to see. Sorry, I was trying to see if I had something. I thought I had.
No, you're good.
Oh. Yes, there was something else I wanted to mention. William, the drummer for Ashes Rain, is actually getting sponsored by a Soul Tone cymbals. So,
nice.
Yeah, so congratulations. When you said friends of the band, it reminded me. I said something else I had. So congratulations to William from Ashes Rain. So
yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see like the bands we talked to getting some credibility here and there. So,
Hell yeah, man.
I think that was. Sorry, I screenshotted some of this stuff. Talk about that.
Yeah, I did that with the Extinction AD tour to make sure I had it and added it to the Hitting the Road segment. I did the same thing to make sure I wouldn't forget to add it.
So I don't know if you last week we talked about. I think it was last week that this album was released. The Lockjaw album, Relentless. I think it just got released last week. It's already hit 1 million all-time streams.
Holy shit, man! Good for
Yeah.
them.
Holy shit, dude, that's crazy. So congratulations to those guys too. So it's a big feat in a week. I was like,
that's nice.
And just for a little amusement for our friends down under there, Hidden Intent. I hear the boomerangs coming back.
Heyo.
I thought you would.
I did.
So last week's playlist was.
Hang on, I can tell you. Last week's playlist was Metal Blade.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm posting the right things.
Yep.
I'll throw this one up real quick. This is the playlist for this week. So if you want to catch some new tunes that just got released this week, there's 30 of them there.
And they will be on the radio station.
At some point, yeah. I'm getting there.
Yep, they'll be there.
Actually, it's probably going to be better to go into that next because it's all different. And there's probably not going to be duplicates on any of that. So I can just upload that. So that's probably going to be the next way I go is the weekly playlist or something.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about something real quick. I know we're getting into the theme of the week but talking about hitting the road reminded me I've saved this and I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. It's not very long, so it's kind of a I guess pet peeve type thing. But the Loudwire posted a thing: 10 ways to not be an asshole at concerts.
I saw that. I did. I saw that.
And I wanted to bring this up. So the text here says, "What the fuck is going on at concerts lately? It seems like every other day there's a new headline about an artist getting hit on stage by something that a member of the audience threw at them, or that a musician had to stop the show because someone in the crowd was getting hurt by the people around them, or that a member of the audience was ejected from the venue for blatantly disruptive and potentially harmful behavior." So, a study that was conducted by No Deposit Fan earlier this year went as far as to name the U.S. states where the crowds seem to have the worst during the shows, which I talked about that on the show. Kentucky and Maine crowds ranked the highest as far as engaging in the most rude and disrespectful behavior, but a lot of other states made the list too. Some of these instances go viral on social media now, so it's a possibility that people in the crowds are seeking to attain some form of internet notoriety and thus act out. Or it could be that people have a lot of pent-up energy ever since the COVID-19 lockdown forced everyone to socially distance for months. And that energy can sometimes turn into aggression, in even violence. So
I don't know. I think that's becoming less and less of an excuse. I mean, COVID hasn't been a thing for a minute now. I mean,
yeah, it's we don't really know why people are acting out as much as at shows recently. We just know that concerts can seem slightly less enjoyable when the experience is being ruined by obnoxious attendees. So we compiled a list of 10 behaviors you shouldn't engage in when going to a show, just to show basic concert etiquette and not take away from anyone else's experience. It may not be your first time seeing a particular artist live, but it may be somebody else's. And the music is supposed to bring us together, not drive us apart. So, and then they go into, and honestly, there are more than 10 ways, but these are just the essentials. So, let's see. Number 10 was, sorry, I went too damn.
I think hold on a second. I think number 10 was don't hold your phone up above your head the entire show.
Exactly. Since
Um,
we get it, it's the age of social media, and you want to show off that you saw your favorite band, or you just want to have some photos and videos as a way to remember the event. That's fine, but try not to hold your device up in a way that blocks others' views. And I've said this 100,000 times.
mhm.
And hold up the entire time. If you want to watch an entire recording of a concert, you can do so on YouTube and for free. And if you do use your phone, make sure your flash is off, so it doesn't disrupt the band or anybody else behind you.
Right.
Next one is don't spill your drink on people. Alcohol is cold at concerts for a reason, or sold at it's sold at concerts for a reason. Plenty of people enjoy having some drinks while listening to their favorite songs, and that's completely understandable. But getting drunk to the point where you're spilling your drink on other people just isn't fair. They aren't there for whiskey showers, and no one wants to drive home feeling drenched and sticky. No, because you spill something on me, you're going to be the guy in the middle of the mosh pit on the fucking ground.
Yeah, I will, and I will, and that one. There's like a kind of like a two-parter to that one for me, and this alludes to something that shows up later in this list too. What pisses me off, especially like when we're at like a smaller venue and we manage to work our way up to like maybe not right up against the barricade, but like if you're like second, maybe third, and some dipshit gets out to go get a drink and he expects you to like let him back in to the very, very same spot he was with that drink. I'm like, you can fuck off. You got out, you're done.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. It's like, well, we didn't go spend all day to get up front. Well, motherfucker, don't leave.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you want to be there, fine, but don't fucking leave because, I mean, what's the old saying? Move your feet, lose your seats. I mean,
yeah. Before the show starts, I go to the bathroom. That way I know if I do make it up to the front, I'm getting a spot and I'm staying there until it's over.
Right.
So yeah, these people who think, "Oh, I got out of line to go get a drink. I'm going to get my spot back right up against the fuck you are."
The next one was don't shout through the entire show. That fucking drives me nuts too. This doesn't go for people who are singing along, sing your lungs out, but for people talking around you about your shitty work day or your upcoming plans, especially when you have to shout it at them, sucks for those who are trying to listen to the performance. You may not know the song that's currently being played, or maybe you're bored, but you can have the conversation away from the crowd or after the show. No one wants to hear about your personal life when they're there for the artist. And I don't want to hear your fucking cell phone on speaker in the grocery store either. So.
Yeah. Or talk in between sets, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Or how about this? You're at a show. Don't worry about how your day went at work. That shit's over and you're at the show to enjoy the show. But yeah, if you want to talk to somebody, talk between sets, for fuck's sake.
Part of the reason you're at the show is because you had a shit deal. Next one was don't dance and fall over others, which kind of goes with the other one, I guess, the drinking one. But obviously, there are some risks you take when going to a concert, and losing out on personal space is one of the biggest sacrifices. You're simply going to have it, especially if you are in a standing section. But that doesn't mean you should have to anticipate someone dancing and falling all over you. It's disrespectful and even kind of gross sometimes. If you want to dance, go for it, but try your hardest not to be bumping and grinding on some people in your area.
Yeah.
Next one was don't squeeze to get in front of people who were there first. Some people get to the venue super early or even pay extra money to be able to get a good view at the show. So be mindful of that and don't squeeze your way to the absolute front because you got there later. You're only going to piss off everyone around you, especially if they were standing in that spot for hours before you decided to waltz over. Even more so if you are really tall, then will now be blocking their view entirely. Which talk about that too. But there was a guy like probably 6'4" at the. Trying to think of what show that was. It was the Trivium and Beartooth show. And he kept turning around going, "Hey, can you see? Hey, can you see?" I thought, man, that was so fucking cool. Like, he didn't have to do that because, I mean, he was in that spot the whole time I was there. So he was there before me. But he kept turning around to the other people. Can you see? Can you see? So he was actually being respectful and not wanting to block anybody's view.
Yeah.
and he wasn't in the front. So I mean, that's probably the reason why he didn't go to the front.
I do remember when we were at the Machine Head show at East Side Bowl. There, of course, he wasn't in my way because you and I we were standing stage right. But
Yeah.
I remember looking over and there was a pretty tall dude who was like front and center, and I was like, damn. I kind of looked over a couple of times. I was like, God damn, I feel bad for the people standing right behind him because he was a pretty tall guy.
Yeah. So this one says, don't make out the whole time. It makes sense that live music puts some people in a loving mood. Maybe you're at the show with your significant other, or maybe you just hit it off with another attendee that night. A bit of affection is great, but save the intense makeout sessions and potentially other things for after the show.
Yeah.
No one wants to see it, and you'll probably be disrupting people's view. Plus, that shit might stink too. So.
Yeah, it might. Yeah.
Next one is leave the oversized hats for the Kentucky Derby. Hats are a great way to complement any outfit. Baseball caps, fedoras, and even cowboy hats are totally cool to wear to concerts as long as they aren't completely oversized. It's not a horse race, so leave the floppy hats at home. They just simply aren't appropriate for spaces where people are closely crowded together.
I don't think I've ever really had an issue with that.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that either. You could poke someone's eye out or just be bumping into them all night with the rim or so forth, but just go for something a little bit more subtle. Don't start a fight. The only type of simulated aggression that should occur at the stage is at any concert is moshing. Aside from that, save the muscle flexing for the frat house. Don't start a fight. If someone is being a jerk, grab a security guard and let them handle the situation. No one around you paid to possibly get hurt, and that can easily happen if even just two people decide to brawl in a crowded spot.
See, and that's a funny thing is like a mosh pit. There is etiquette for a mosh pit, and basically everyone. And I don't know how many times I've seen someone go down, and they're always picked right back up.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, it's like we all know a mosh pit is like controlled chaos. Basically, there's respect in there.
Exactly.
So the funny thing is most times I've seen fights. Hasn't been in the mosh pit. It's been some drunken jack. It's been some drunken dipshit who, started. Yeah. I actually have a story about this. I think it was in 2012, maybe. I'm wanting to say it was 2012. And Angela and I were in Nashville when Slipknot came to town, and we were right up against the barricade. Angela was standing in front of me, right up against the barricade. I was standing behind her, and I had my arms around her, just trying to, protect her the best I could. Well, there was a guy standing, and we were, fucking sardined in here, and there was a guy who was standing right next to me, so he was basically to Angela's diagonal right behind her, and he kept she kept feeling him grab her, and at one point she turned around and she said, "You grab me one more time," basically, long story short. And once she said that, I turned around and I said, if I can get my arms loose, I'm going to beat the shit out of you if you touch my wife. Well, of course, we weren't married at the time, but I'm going to beat the shit out of you if you put your hands on her one more time. And, he and I were like basically right here to each other. Cause like I say, we were shoulder to shoulder down there in the front. And so I got basically this close to getting into a fight because he wouldn't leave his hands off my woman, so. And I didn't know it was going on because, like I say, I had my arms around her like this, and everyone's basically like this. So you're rubbing up against people anyway. But she kept feeling a hand on her, and she told me about it, and then she said something to him, and then I said something to him. So,
what's funny is that situation was with me and Susie. I probably wouldn't have had to say anything because.
Well, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have.
I'd have been like, "Why the fuck did you punch that guy?"
Well, that's the funny thing is like if she could have gotten an arm loose, she probably would have.
Oh.
But no one could really move. I mean, you weren't going to start flailing your arms or anything like that. So, I mean, there's really no getting loose. But
you don't know my wife very well. So I should have threw the motherfucker over the barricade. Went after the problem. Anyway, the next one was don't yell obscenities at the performer, whether you paid for the concert ticket or you were dragged there by someone else. Don't shout obscenities at the performer, even if you absolutely hate them. They're up on stage in a vulnerable position, trying to entertain a crowd. Oops, I just went too far. Entertain a crowd, but they don't need someone yelling at them that could distract them from and throw out their performance.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, if you hate an artist that much, even if someone offers you a ticket, if you hate them that much, don't go.
Right.
Just don't go. If it's going to make you that miserable, don't buy a ticket for yourself. And if someone offers to take you, don't go. Just don't fucking go. If you're going to be that miserable, don't go. Just don't.
And this one says, and for the love of fuck, do not throw things on stage. This is the one that really seem to need to hear the most right now, as summer 2023 has introduced a new horrific concert trend, throwing things at the stage. Baby Rexa got a black eye from being hit by something during her show. Ava Max was slapped by someone in the crowd who climbed on stage. Someone tossed a bag of human ashes on stage during a recent Pink show. I actually seen it. That was.
I actually saw the video of whoever that BB whatever the hell her name BB Rexa.
Yeah.
Somebody actually showed, one of my coworkers showed that shit to me on like TikTok, and someone chucked their cell phone at her.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think I remember.
Someone, and he just beamed her. I mean,
yeah, that's fine. Then Ann Kelsey Ballerina was hit by a bracelet someone took off and tossed at her. All of these instances happened within a few weeks, and it's not funny. Well, and you know, none of those were a metal show, by the way. Have you noticed how people are like forgetting fucking show etiquette at the moment? People are just throwing shit on stage. Oh, damn it! I accidentally hit the thing. People are just throwing shit on stage. Have you seen them? Adele said during a show in Las Vegas, "I fucking dare you." And she had a shirt cannon. That was pretty funny. This absolute obviously isn't a new thing. It can be seen in the photo of Guns N' Roses' Axl Rose, who told the crowd through a translator in '92 that if anyone saw someone throwing something, to beat the fucking shit out of them. But it seems to have become a more common occurrence and needs to end because someone can get really hurt.
Yeah,
Well,
they can.
I can tell you how to fix that. Is you take them to a Sebastian Bach show and have them throw something on stage at him.
Yep.
That'll cure that shit real quick.
Yep.
I don't know if you ever remember that, but he was singing "Peace" with Skid Row, and some girl threw a beer bottle on stage. And he jumped in the crowd and beat her boyfriend and her. I think.
I remember hearing about that. I will add one caveat to the don't throw things on stage, because this is an all-time classic. Hot chicks and bras. Go ahead. That's fine.
Panties and bras are good to go.
That's an all-time classic. That's an exception.
Although some of the singers' wives may not appreciate that.
Well, that's true, but I mean, hey, it comes with the territory, I guess.
So the playlist that was up there was the weekly list, and I will throw up the Metal Blades playlist from last week. There's that.
There it is.
That as we get into our theme of the week, which is Century Media Records this week.
Yeah.
And as soon as I seen the first band on there, I was like, "Oh, I know why he chose this one."
Yeah, part of it. Yeah, to be completely honest with you, but I mean, we were going to get to Century Media eventually.
Oh yeah, at some point, yeah. Actually, I didn't realize that many bands were on that label. I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah,
a shit ton of bands. And I didn't even look at any past bands. I just looked at current. So,
so
I don't even know who they had in the past. But.
Yeah. How many did you end up with?
I got 13 just out of the current lineup. That's why I was like, man, I got 13. I'm not going any further.
I capped myself at 25, and there was more I was going to add.
Oh damn! I wasn't going to be too crazy with it. So, and plus I was trying to pick songs that may not make a list otherwise. It's kind of, I guess that makes sense. I was trying to.
I get it.
Yeah, and plus we've gotten some songs from some of these bands already. I'm like, okay, what song is on our list already? So, I was trying to be a little different with it, since I could be. So it's not, because it's not, one of our normal themes. So it's kind of all broad. So
yeah, that's true.
Try to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, I'll kick it off here.
All right.
Of course, the first one I went with was Angela Sapertrita,
Mm-hmm.
but I went back a little bit. I went with Immortal from the Hidden Evolution 2015 album.
That's fine.
So I feel like we've kind of been on the sharpen the guillotine and the self-titled for a little bit with our theme. So I was like, I'm gonna go back a little bit since I have that option. So. And I went with Arch Enemy, second one, Deceiver from the Deceivers album 2022.
Nice.
There's a lot of Arch Enemy that I like, but I feel like I haven't put anything. I was trying to mix it up some because there's not a lot of new stuff on the radio station either, and I've been doing the playlist first. So
I heard Welcome Home the other day. So
yeah, that'll add a little bit new stuff to it. So then the next one I went with was Bewitcher, and I went with Death Returns from Cursed Be Thy Kingdom from 2021. Then I went with Enforced, Hanged by My Hand from The War Remains, and that was earlier this year. I think you actually did that review, didn't you? You did? Because there was an Enforced and an Enforcer. I can't remember.
Hold on, let me look real quick. I did Enforcer.
Okay, so I did the Enforced one. So
yeah, and then I did listen to the Enforced.
Yeah.
But when did Enforced come out? Yeah, and Enforced came out at the end of April, and Enforcer came out at the beginning of May.
Gotcha. Yeah, I knew they were close together because
they were.
Because when you said Enforcer, I said, "Damn, I just did that one, didn't
I?" Yeah.
I was like, "Oh no, that was Enforced." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but then this one kind of goes back a little ways. I went with Fight, Little Crazy from War of Worlds.
Nice.
War of Words from 1993. If you don't know that, it's one of Rob. Actually, that was Rob Halford's project when he left Priest.
Yep.
Back when the Ripper took over.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went with, of course, a band I'm fixing to see in 2 weeks, Havoc, Post-Era Truth from the album 5 in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went with Lacuna Coil, and I kind of went with this because it's a newer song. I went with Never Dawn, which is the new single. It's still done by Central Media, so
okay, that's cool.
With some new stuff in there. Then I went with Monuments, Collapse. That was from the In Stasis 2022 album. I went with New Year's Day, Defame Me from Malevolence in 2015. And then I went with Queensryche, Sick Death from the Digital Noise Alliance from last year, 2022.
Nice.
Then I went with Sick of It All from Take the Night Off from Death to Tyrants 2006. And man, I did not realize Sick of It All had been out since the 90s. I was looking at it, I was like, damn.
Oh, shit.
They had like albums from 94. I'm like, what? Like, they've been out that long. Yeah. And then, of course, you can't have a Metalheads Unite playlist like this and not include Spirit Adrift. So, so I put Screaming from Beyond from The Enlightened in Eternity 2020. And then last but not least, I went with Unearth Incinerate from Extinctions 2018.
Nice. All right. Well, my like I say, there were songs I was gonna put on here, and I might once we actually get the playlist posted, because I mean I was just like, Jesus, I better just stop, because of course Angela Sapertrita was the main reason why I wanted to finally get to this one. But I mean, Arch Enemy, I could have put I don't know how many Arch Enemy songs on here, but there are so many good bands that have been on this label. So anyway, so to start with mine, leading off, I had Nemesis by Arch Enemy off of Doomsday Machine from 2005. Then I went with Indoctrinate by Angela Sapertrita off the self-titled album from 21. Then I went with Shattered Like Glass by Warbringer off of Worlds Torn Asunder from 2011. Then I had The Book of Heavy Metal by Dream Evil off of The Book of Heavy Metal from 2004. Then I went with Indifferent by Adrenaline Mob off of Omerta from 2012. Then I went with Heaven's a Lie by Lacuna Coil off of Comalies from 2002. I went with Safe. What's that?
You picked a song off of that album?
Yeah. Well, Heaven's a Lie is actually the song that kind of really got me into Lacuna Coil and kind of took off from there. Then I went with Safe Home by Anthrax off We've Come For You All from 2003. Then I had Rush from Poison Black off of Lust Stained Despair from 2006. Then I had Neverlasting by Sentenced off The Cold White Light from 2002. Then I had King After King by Avatar off of Avatar Country from 2018. I had Mercenary Man by Firewind off The Premonition from 2008. Gone Forever by God Forbid off of Gone Forever from 2004. Violent Revolution from Creator off of Violent Revolution from 2001. Then I had I Am the Dog by Nevermore off of Dreaming Neon Black from 1999. And They All Blew Away by Witherfall off of Curse of Autumn from 2021. What Drives the Weak by Shadows Fall from The War Within from 2004. Blessed Are You by Iced Earth off of Something Wicked This Way Comes from 1998. Fear Campaign by Havoc off of Five from 2020. Midnight Hour by Wolf off of Feeding the Machine from 2020 rather. Dance Macabre from The Agonist off Eye of Providence from 2015. The Eagle Flies Alone by Arch Enemy off of Will to Power 2017. Black Flag by Iced Earth off of Incorruptible from 2017. The Watcher by Arch Enemy off of Deceivers from 2022. Whore by In This Moment off of Blood from 2013. And last but certainly far from least, this super duper long list, I went back a little ways myself. I went with End Man by Angela Sapotrita off of Hidden Evolution from 2015.
Oh, so did you find those? Where did you find those past artists at? I couldn't find anything for past artists.
Well, all I did was when I go to Encyclopedia Metallum and I look up a label, all I do is go. There's a current artist, past artist, and then a tab that just says releases.
Oh,
I just start going through the list of releases.
oh, okay.
That's what I start doing.
I tried to do that one time and it bit me because I was like looking at all this shit. I'm like, there's nothing on their like thing saying that the album like that company was ever part of their. I don't know.
I think that may have been Nuclear Blast or Napalm. I remember you were talking about that, but
It's like two or three bands. I was like, what the hell?
yeah. So, and like I say, there were other songs I wanted to add, but I was like, all right, I need to just stop for Christ's sake. So. But yeah, so we'll get to play. And we didn't have any doubles, so there's going to be 38 songs on on this one. So it'll be a long one, but it'll be worth it. We'll get it compiled and posted as soon as we can.
All right, I guess we will kick into the last segment of the night. Album review time.
Yep.
So this week I went with Cutthroat LA, their new album Fear by Design. They were formed in LA, of course, in 2013. Inspired by the streets and surrounded by personal, political, and religious chaos, Cutthroat LA uses music as a platform to express the truths that deception hides. Using a mixture of hardcore beatdown, 90s hip hop, and thrash as a canvas to express their feelings about this crazy world we live in. Cutthroat LA is a band of brothers coming from different musical backgrounds. Current members are Neil Romer for vocalist, Bobby Blood, a drummer, Ben Levy, guitarist, and Jason Birmingham, bass. So Spotify says this is their debut album, but I believe it said on Bandcamp this was their second album. So I'm not sure if the first, just not. So this may be the thing. Like they may have went from Cutthroat to Cutthroat LA because there's two other bands named Cutthroat, so they may have had to add something to it.
Well, the funny thing is on heavymusichq.com, it just has them listed as Cutthroat.
Yeah, that's right. When I had to actually look them up by the name and album to find it. So
yeah.
So, anyway, Spotify, like I said, Spotify says it's their debut, but I believe it's their second one. So according to Bandcamp, this one is 10 songs, 31 minutes, 35 seconds. So real short listen. It's like so this is kind of like a collision between Body Count and Cypress Hill. So if you can imagine.
Okay. There you go.
Which, is not a bad thing at all. It is heavy, and vocals go from hip hop to screams pretty well. Bobby and Neil were actually in Downset together. So if you remember that band.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Their new project. I really dig the sound, though. Lyrically, I'm going to say lyrically, they could probably be canceled on social media platforms from some of the shit there's. I was listening to some of this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so fucking true. But
that's how you know it's good.
Exactly, yeah. But definitely some truth to their lyrics. I say that.
Nice.
I guess another example I could give them, maybe their sound would be a hip hop hate breed. That kind of makes sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that may be even better. A description. I'm actually going to reach out to this because I don't think we've ever interviewed somebody or a band of this type of genre.
No,
so
we
it's
haven't.
kind of interesting to see how they mix all that together. But anyway, like I said, I liked it for the most part. I'm gonna give this one 3.5 horns, mainly because I wished it was a little longer. Um, 10 songs, you seem like you would want to get at least 45 minutes out of it,
Yeah.
but it definitely was a great album, I thought. So
Yeah. I kind of had, I
you can
kind of
feel
had,
if you can, if you dig that kind of stuff. I mean, so I'm okay with it. A lot of people's like, oh, I don't listen to shit. I mean, it's kind of reminds me when Linkin Park first came out. Everybody's like, what the fuck, and then
yeah. Well, I mean,
and
hell, that's fine.
then they sell
Yeah, that's
100
fine.
records. So,
Well, yeah, that's true too.
so,
Nice. All right. Well, I kind of had a little bit of the same issue with my new album, and the album that I went with is a band that we kind of know a little bit about, and I'll tell you why. My first three choices couldn't find them.
well, your first choice only had 2 songs out. So,
Well, that's the thing is
uh,
my first choice ended up being a single. My second choice couldn't find it at all. And unless I was searching for the wrong band, my third choice, the album listed on heavymusichq.com came out in 2010. So I
so
was like,
what was your second and third choice?
my second choice was Winter Storm and their album Everfrost. And then my third choice was Decayed and their album From Hell. So
I
I
didn't see,
struck
I
so
didn't see anything about the Decade.
so I struck out. So I was like, screw it. I'm just because I knew that Evil came out with something new, and I still plan on listening to that.
Yeah,
But
I
I already
haven't.
know. But I already know about Evil.
Right.
But so I was kind of like pressed for time because I was like, all right, I need to figure something out because I need to, because I listened to, on the way up and on the way back. So
Mhm.
I went with the band E-Line, and I've seen a couple of their videos on YouTube before, so I am familiar with them. But their new album "We Shall Remain" came out today. They are a symphonic metal band formed in Landskrona, Sweden, in 2014. Their lyrical themes are death, life, and religion, because of course, this
Mhm.
is their fourth full length studio album. Their current lineup consists of Rykard Ekberg on guitars and vocals, Madeline Liliastam on vocals. She's the lead singer. The
Right.
Rykard, he contributes. Jesper Sundhagen on drums and Philip Stahlberg on bass. Like I said, this is their fourth studio album. This new album is 10 tracks long, only 36 minutes and 55 seconds, but it's technically 9 tracks and 36 minutes even, because right smack dab in the middle, there's a 55-second instrumental that is basically just a segregated intro to the next song. Which, I mean, it was fine, but it just could have been added on to the next song. I will say this, like I say, I knew a little bit about this band,
Mhm.
but this is probably one of the heaviest symphonic metal bands I have ever heard. Most of the symphonic element comes from the fact that Madeline just has such an operatic voice,
Right.
and she sings strictly clean. She reminds me a lot of Tina from Hexed.
Mhm.
So she reminds me a lot of her, that really powerful, clean, that that melodic, like I
Yeah,
say, operatic voice.
I would say
So
musically they are a little heavier than most of the bands that
yeah, so
even that you like listen to. I know I don't listen to a lot of it, but
right,
I actually heard the single from them earlier, and I actually dug it. I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
yeah. So like I say, I've seen a couple of their videos on YouTube, so I knew what to expect a little bit. But I tell you what caught me off guard is Rykard Ekberg. He is the male contributor of the vocals. In the very first song, obviously Madeline, she leads off, and then at one point coming out of the first verse going into the second verse, Rykard comes in with his contribution to the clean vocals, and then going into the third verse leading in the first chorus, he drops down into this fucking guttural that is like, holy shit.
Uh,
So I mean, as far as like vocal diversity, this album's got it. You got male, you got female clean, and male gutturals, all in one. Now, obviously they're not included in every song, and but there's definitely enough diversity in there with the 3 vocal styles. It really, really works. And
Yeah.
what I really like about this band, even though they're a symphonic metal band, the operatic and symphonic elements that they do use are used so sparingly, and at such very strategically placed spots. The symphonic part, of their style, the symphonic part is just an accessory, and I really, really like that, because I mean the guitars. I mean, I was to me, they're not a symphonic metal band. They're more like power goth, like a combination of power metal and goth, really, because there's so little symphonic aspect to it as far as like the musical part. Like I say, most of the symphonic influence just comes from Madeline's voice, so everything else, if it wasn't for, like, if she wasn't the singer, and like Rykard was the singer, and he just went back and forth from his cleans to his gutturals, and it was just like a 3-piece, or maybe they had like another guitar player or whatever. If it wasn't for Madeline being in the band, I don't think they'd be classified as a symphonic metal band at all. I really don't. But so yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised by this, even because it caught me off guard, especially even with the little bit that I did know about the band already. So this one's gonna get another 4 horns out of 5 from me.
There's another one that I was going to do from the band Vendetta. They had a new album, Black as Coal. I didn't do it mainly because when I was looking at their stuff, they had been out for, oh my God, I guess they have albums out from 88, 87. So they've actually been, so they've actually been around, and I'm just like, oh well, yeah, I'm not going to mention it, but I'm not going to do the review because they've obviously been around a little bit. So
maybe it may be one worth checking out, but yeah,
it's definitely worth checking out. Like I went through at least 3 or 4 songs on it already, and I'm just like, man, this is really good. That's one of the reasons why I was like, man, I'm gonna check this one out too, and probably do a review on it. And then I was like, oh man, they've been out for so long though. I'm like,
yeah,
really. I mean, I probably should have still done it because I mean, we've said before, we were listening to Onslaught one night, and they were already in the business for damn near 30 years.
30 years, yeah, 30 years, yeah, you're right.
So I mean, maybe people don't know about Vendetta, but yeah, definitely
they may not.
Vendetta's a pretty good band. So
yeah, well, I may listen to that one too this week after I get done with the Evil album.
I don't think that Winter Sun came out. I think that is not released because it only had like the 4 singles.
Yeah, it must not have. So I may just have to kind of keep my eye on that one.
I think I tossed that already, but I think they had one too that I was looking at, and it came out in September of 22. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, what's interesting is I'm actually looking ahead to next week, and that Velvet Viper is actually listed on next week's list too.
So they pushed it a week probably, and they didn't take it off.
But they didn't take it off the 14th. Yeah. So who knows?
Well, there you go. We know what you're listening to next week, I guess.
Well, maybe we'll see. All depends.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of this coming Friday, this is actually, I'm surprised. This is actually going to be one of the shorter lists that I've seen on this website over at Heavy Music HQ, but there's still plenty to choose from. That's for sure. So for July 21st, leading off with Ageless Summoning with Corrupting the Entempled Plane. We have Agriculture with a self-titled album. Acrecock with Decades of Devil Worship. Ancestral Blood with Forgotten Myths and Legends, Chapter 1. We have Bad Juju with Blue Heaven. We have Bang with Another Me. Bloodletter with A Different Kind of Hell. Blut Got with Respawned in Heavy Metal. Cadaver with The Age of the Offended. Oh, that's not fitting. Karthus with Images of Tyranny. Cult of Sobek with Petsukos. That's an EP. Clone Static with Cave Pop Dance Songs for the Primitive People. That's an EP. We have Daniel Bone with Emotions of the Sky. Disimperium with Grand Insurgence Upon Despotic Altars. Eternal Drac with Interdimensional War of Satan. Face of Corruption with Demo. I don't know if it's demo or if it's a demo. It just says demo. Forever Autumn with Crowned in Skulls. That's an EP. We have Gateway with Galgan Dude. Greta Van Fleet. Why they're on this fucking list, I have no idea. With Starcatcher. Hardball with a self-titled album. Inhuman Condition with Panic Prayer. That's an EP. James and the Cold Gun with a self-titled album. Jamie's Elsewhere with Paradise. That's an EP. Caravan with Unholy Mountain. Later Sons with Rise Up. MF Ruckus. I don't know if that's motherfucking Ruckus or what, because it's just it's capital M, capital F. I have a feeling they decided not to put the swear word up there. But MF Ruckus with the Front Lines of Good Times, Volume 1. Midnight Fracture with The Silence. That's an EP. Ms. Moore with Prosaic. Mistfall with Celestial Vision. Nathaniel La Rochette with Old Growth. Nuclear Winter with Seagrave. Outer Heaven with Infinite Psychic Depths. Oxbow with Love's Holiday. Pelican with The Fire in Our Throats Will Beckon the Thaw. That's a re-release. We have Rannoch with Conflagrations. Restraining Order with Locked in Time. St. Agnes with Bloodsuckers. Soil with Restoration. Somnuri with Desiderium. Sorcia with Lost Season. Sorrow Enthroned with Illicit Infantile Surgical Procedures. Soundscapism Incorporated with Staring Down on Incandescent Cities. We have Space Seer and Hyverlucide with a split album. Thunder Horse with After the Fall. Maybe Velvet Viper with Nothing Compares to Metal. We'll have to see. Viral Tyrant with Vultures Like You. Voivod with Morgoth Tales, and the Zenith Passage with Data Lyceum. So, let's say a little bit of a shorter list than what we're used to, but still plenty of stuff to choose from. So
we probably pick something out of that lineup, I'm sure. So,
oh yeah, I think so.
But
I do believe.
Cool. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Anyway. I definitely need to listen to some more EPs. I haven't gotten through.
I'm actually a little behind myself. My last EP was in June, but yeah, I'm a little behind.
I got like 4 or 5 in my OneNotes, so
yeah, I'm a little behind.
Crazy. All right. Well, I guess that will wrap this one up. So we appreciate everybody for stopping in. Like always, remind you there's the link scrolling on the banner there for the radio station and also the merch store. Which that may change. I'll get into that some other time. But
okay, that's fine.
Let's just say I ordered a shirt and I'm not really happy with the way it turned out. So
okay, I got you.
I'm seeking other. Or I bought a domain, so I'll figure it out if I have to create my own damn website. I guess I'm actually talking to some friends that I had class with for the web development and see if we can't at least build the front end of it, and then get somebody to build the back end of it for security purposes for us. So.
Gotcha.
So at least half of it will be done. So
yeah. All right.
And hopefully by actually I've been waiting on a couple of things because I don't want to like go in and do something and then have to turn around 2 weeks later and fix it. So I'm kind of waiting on the radio station to decide what they're doing and how they're going to be broadcasting. So I'm waiting on that. So once I get that, then I'll try to decide on what I'm going to do with the website deal. So I'll probably wind up trying to find a new like company to go with for the merch for right now, and then kind of go with that's what that does. You got to hit it twice. Okay, now maybe why was that going? Okay, interesting.
Cool,
because it does a lot better now. So that's good. Anyway, the things you learn.
Yep. The more you know. So
if I do change it, I'll just change the banner, and then the merch will still be there. But actually, the tumblers on this thing really look good. So actually, that's what I ordered next. So I'm kind of see what that looks like.
Okay,
cool. That still looks good. I'll probably just take my shirts off and put them somewhere else. But
there you go.
Just keep the tumbler stuff for right now. But we'll see. Like I said, I still plan. I mean, this is the stuff I'm playing around with. So I mean, it's going to be a while before like I know where I'd like to go, but I don't think that he would work with me to like I would have to like get the merch made and then I would have to sell it myself. So
yeah,
and if you go that route, I definitely have to have a website. So
yeah,
so which I mean, if I'm trying one more place, if it don't work out, that's probably what I'm going to do. So
may have to.
so because I know like the shirts that me and you, I mean, like the one you got sitting up back there,
Yeah,
that's where I would, going back to that same guy. So if I had to sell it myself, that's where I'll go. So
yeah, yeah. These turned out really well.
yeah, yeah. So I bought a tank top from the other place and I washed it and like it stunk to high heaven. It was like a real strong.
Oh man,
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a strong like chemical smell.
yeah,
Like where they pressed it on or something maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. Like I washed it and dried it, and it already faded the logo and the stuff. I don't know. With one wash, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, so I was kind of upset about that. So, yeah. Like I said, the guy that made that shirt made my wrestling shirts that I wore for 20 years. So I know they're durable and I know they.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, this thing's been. I haven't worn it a ton, but it's been worn and washed a few times. It still looks great.
I wear mine once a week. So.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm going out somewhere so everybody can see it. So.
Right.
So he's like, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah.
So, well, have you heard the good news?
That's right. That's right.
Let me tell you about. Let me bring out my book of heavy metal here. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow us on all the social media. We got the YouTube channel, we have Twitch, we have Rumble, we have Twitter, which I don't do much with it, but it's there. Facebook, a Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok.
I'm actually looking into that new one. What's the new one? Is
oh God, I don't even know.
But like Non-Point and all them was that went over there, so I'm just like,
I don't know.
So all the I follow are fucking switching, so I'm just like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I have a hard time keeping up with the ones that we've already got going on. So, and like we said earlier in the show, you want to get a request on the radio station, send us a message at Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com. We'll get your song added to the rotation. Send us a membership request over at the Facebook group. We'll get you guys hooked up.
Just don't get on there and start selling stuff like that.
Yeah, saw that. I saw that.
I didn't know it happened again. He actually texted me. He was like, "Hey, is this person?" I said, "Well, I've warned her already." So, hey, we're not here to solicit. So
yeah,
you can't be doing that here. So
yeah,
they did it again. So how do you go? So
unfortunately, it sucks that we had to do that. But thankfully, it's only like the second person we've ever had to do that to. So it's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. But
for the most part, goes along with whatever. Even if they pause notifications from getting, because we do post a lot sometimes. But we're trying to keep everybody informed. So
yeah, we are. Yeah, trying to keep the content fresh.
Yep. All right. Well, speaking of that, we will cut this one and go on about our night, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
12:30 here, so
yeah. I've been up since 5 a.m. I don't work nights like you, so I'm like on the opposite schedule as you. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm beat because we got our granddaughter. She woke me up at 9:30 this morning. I'm like, oh my god, no!
Oh, good lord!
So I'm only on about 5 hours of sleep myself. So
Oof,
I'm about to crash too. So.
All right then.
But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you want to go back and see any of our band interviews, you can go over to Spotify and catch those. And I'm actually trying to work on Apple Podcasts next. So I'm actually trying to build this thing little by little. So
yeah,
brick by brick, as they say. So eventually the house will be built. So
yep, one step at a time.
Well, I know a lot of people use Apple too, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to leave people out.
That's true.
Platforms, I kind of want to be out there for everybody to listen. So if you got an iPhone, I'm pretty sure it's probably easier just to hit a button and go to the podcasting section on your Apple phone. So
true.
So, but anyway, we will announce that when we're there. So, all right. Well, and guess until next week, I hope you guys have a good week. Hopefully, see you back here next Friday, unless something comes up with some interviews. Oh, actually, I forgot. I'm sorry. I wanted to give a congrats out real quick. I don't want to get names wrong, so give me just a second. I'm glad I thought about this. I almost forgot. I reached out to the band Blackscape, and one of their members, Tage, got married. So congratulations to him.
Oh, nice.
They said, "Hey, give me some time to get back to you. We got a wedding this weekend." I'm like, "Oh shit, really?" So that's cool. So
Nice.
congratulations to Tage there.
Hell yeah, man.
So don't want to leave any announcements out. I'm glad about that. I actually felt bad if I didn't say something. So
congratulations, absolutely.
yes. All right. On that note, we will close this out, and hopefully we will see you back next week. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.